We up in here early, y'all. Early. We up in here early, early, early. Early, early. Son, man, gotta eat, man. Man, my knee's still jacked up, man. But I iced it up today and it's doing a lot better, but it's still jacked up, man. I can barely bend it. I don't know what happened. It just got inflamed. I mean, massively inflamed. My knee is the size of my head, man. My knee is the size of my head. We gonna start the show early tonight, man. I ain't even gonna mess around with y'all, man. I'm gonna drop this link, man. 'Cause I know people gotta go to work, man. People gotta go to work in the morning, man. We gonna drop that link. Yeah, I was shoveling snow. It wasn't even a lot of snow though. It was just my front. I did my neighbor's front. I did both my neighbor's fronts because one neighbor, um, he still owns the house, but he doesn't live there. And the other neighbor, they about to have a baby and they're in the hospital. So I did both my neighbor's fronts, and I did my front. I did both my neighbor's fronts, and I did my front. But still, that shouldn't have been enough to make my damn knee blow up like this. That shouldn't have been enough to make my knee blow up like this. That's ridiculous. What do you mean they paid me? Nah, what do you mean they didn't? They didn't pay. I just did the sidewalk. They didn't listen. I'm a good neighbor, man. I'm a good neighbor, man. I'm like one of them old school neighbors, man. I'm not like I'm a good neighbor, man. And both of my neighbors, they're good neighbors. So I didn't have no problem. They didn't even ask me to do that. I didn't even think about it. Only reason I mentioned it is because my knee acting up. I didn't even think about it. It's no big deal. I'm a good neighbor. I got good neighbors. No, I didn't fall. That's the crazy. That's what I'm saying. I didn't fall. I didn't tweak it. I didn't feel nothing. Everything was fine. I sat down and I was like, "Oh shit!" And my knee was just swelling up. And then as the day went on, it swelled up so much, it swelled up to the size of my freaking head. And to the point where this morning I couldn't. Last night I couldn't walk. I couldn't even walk yesterday. I couldn't play with my daughter. Couldn't even play with my daughter. I mean, I'm 45, but I ain't that damn old. This is an injury. I tore my patella. If many of y'all weren't around, was this? This was June of 2020. I tore my patella tendon in June of 2020. I tore my patella tendon. The one in the front, the I tore the muscle right that goes right over the front of your knee. I tore that, and I probably got some kind of tendonitis from it. That's probably what's happening. Some kind of like it hasn't bothered me in like 6 months to a year almost. This one right here, the patella tendon is this one right in front of your knee. It's the one that right that makes your knee bend. It's still like a hinge on your knee. It's like a hinge right here. That little piece. I snapped it, poof, in half. I fell down the steps and I snapped it. Pop. And I was supposed to have surgery, but I ended up not having the surgery because I had my blood pressure was too high. So they wouldn't ooh, what's this? I gotta see this. I don't see that. What's this? I'm gonna have to look for this. I'm gonna have to bookmark that. Um, but yeah, it's like it's like yeah. And I was supposed to have surgery, and I didn't. So time went on, and I ended up not having the surgery, and it like fused back together. And then I went to the orthopedist. The orthopedist was like, he had never seen anything like that. Come in. Yes. You're stupid, man. Y'all dumb, man. Y'all crazy. Let's get the $5 challenge started, man. Oh man, y'all stupid, man. Thanks for all the love, guys. Oh man. Whew. Yeah. Is it duct tape? That might work, man. You never know. Link is in the description box. Link is in the description box. Link is in link is in the description box. Let me put the link in the chat. Um Let me salute to How Dare You, man. How dare you get things started. Salute to Miss Berry too. Miss Berry coming through earlier today. Salute to Miss Berry. Salute to Nate Ways, man, coming through on the Cash App. Let's salute to Nate Ways, man. He said towards the knee. He said $10 toward the knee replacement for. Oh man, yikes. Um, Salute the long story short. He said great job. Um, yeah, I wanted to do this story because this I'm a starter. I'm a warm it up though. I'm gonna warm it up. My daughter, my daughter, ooh, wow. Salute to Christy, man. Christy is the Christy is the goat. Salute to Christy, aka Tom Patrick Edward Brady. Tom Patrick Edward Brady, aka Christy. Salute to her with 200 on the Cash App. Salute to her, man. Salute to her, man. Tom Patrick Edward Brady built. Oh man. Um my bad. Tom Edward Patrick Brady. I'm sorry. Tom Edward Patrick Brady. Get it right. Tom Edward Patrick Brady, aka Christy Webster. Salute to Stephanie C, man, coming through on the Cash App. Salute to you, Stephanie C. Whew. Now, I want to read something for you guys. Let me just read this first. Okay, here we go. Because our buddy, the new Floyd for the moment, he was pulled over for reckless driving. Okay, reckless driving, reckless driving by a special team, like not the regular police, but uh, um, like a vice squad, a tactical unit that's out there on the streets of Memphis, you know, addressing this problem they're having in Memphis with reckless driving. Okay, and for the record, this guy had no prior criminal record, man. No record. No criminal record, man. Salute to Jacqueline for the PayPal. Salute to you, Jacqueline. Um, this guy was pulled over by a special unit. These weren't beat cops. This wasn't officer friendly that you see riding in his patrol car. This was a special unit in unmarked cars. They gotten wind that this guy was ripping through the city driving recklessly, and they went to go get him. Okay? So that's I want you to understand that. Those of you when we get into the story a little later, that this wasn't just this Tyree guy, that Tyree Nichols guy. This wasn't just like a regular traffic stop. Like, hey, you're going 5 miles over the speed limit. Just want to tell you to slow it down, Bucko. I'm just going to give you this warning. And no, he was being he was being tracked down by a tactical unit that's attacking the problem they're having in Memphis with reckless driving.
Easy Wheels started as my college project, and we now sell our wheel covers all around the world.
A WREG veteran photojournalist finding himself part of a scary story Monday morning when the driver of this car puts his vehicle in reverse, narrowly missing our colleague. It was all caught on his dash camera and by patrolling police at Wagner Place in Bill Street, where hundreds were out. The driver returned doing donuts as smoke from the tires filled the air.
I just find it very disturbing.
This Memphis mother did not want to show her face on camera, saying if someone will do this with police around, they are unpredictable.
Where can I go if I can't go in my neighborhood and walk safely? And I can't go downtown and walk safely. Where can I go?
Memphis police telling us incidents involving reckless driving have surged. So too are the requests for speed bumps.
So, what's up, Wicked, man? I know you guys are having this problem in Chicago too, right?
You already know it.
Yeah, man. And listen, man, this son, man, in Memphis, who they're about to be protesting for this weekend. And everybody in America is gonna act like they cared so much about. He might have been the greatest guy to ever fucking live. You know what I'm saying? He might have been the best person that God ever created. But they're addressing this. This is a huge problem in Memphis right now, reckless driving. And then when they pull you over for reckless driving, the last thing you want to do is run. Then when they finally catch you, fight. Because this is not regular police. They have a unit out there now because of all the reckless driving.
In 2018, there were 318. Already this year, a 300% increase with more than 1,000 petitioning for the deterrent.
Yeah, we have to do better because I want to be safe.
For safety reasons,
Now, do you think she's protesting this weekend?
Oh, she's definitely protesting. I might go protest. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But jokes aside, though, let's be honest. Me and you, Chief, they didn't have to fuck him up like that.
Well, a lot of those injuries are from like not just from the beating, and plus I haven't seen the beating, and I don't know how much he was fighting back, and I don't know nothing. Like we know he was recklessly driving. They finally caught him. He gets out of the car and he starts booking it. They catch him, and then he starts fighting. We know those things. Now, what happened after that? I'm just here because these 5 good men, these good brothers, everybody's trying to act like they're now everybody is cool. Like these you ask brothers to go police their community. They're doing it. You said there was a problem with reckless drivers in the community. These brothers signed up. I'm sure this detail that was, I don't know too much about policing. Maybe you guys can help me. When there's a special detail like this to attack a certain problem in the community, do they pick you or do you sign up? How does that work?
I think you gotta have numbers for it. If you want to go into like a specialized unit, yeah. I think they pick you up if you show that you're proactive You know?
Mm-hmm. What's up, Stunner? Stunner in the building.
You're pretty low.
Okay, man. Get your mic together. We'll get back to you.
For safety reasons, she travels from South Memphis to the Riverwalk, but that too is becoming risky.
I can't walk safely knowing that at any moment you're going to make a dumb decision and come out here and do donuts.
It didn't take very long to actually spot drivers going well above the posted speed limit. However, city leaders are hoping that the speed bumps will force drivers to take it slow. Meanwhile, the Memphis mother we spoke with says she's going to continue enjoying the outdoors. However, she will remain on high alert. Tire markings like these are a reminder of a pandemic within a pandemic.
Drive safe.
So now, I didn't call the reckless driving situation in Memphis pandemic. Everyone hit one. Hit one. Hit one if you realize, if you can recognize that I didn't call it that. It wasn't me. I'm not the person that said reckless driving in Memphis has become a pandemic. It wasn't me that said that. Because I just know that somebody gonna come and say, man, you called it a pandemic, man.
Tire markings like these are a reminder of a pandemic within a pandemic.
Drive safely. Don't do donuts. Act like you got some common sense.
Sadly, common sense may not be so common. Reporting in downtown Memphis, Jarita Patterson, WREG.
It's a little choppy, Chief.
Oh, okay. Let me try. Oh, we got people in the building.
The fisherman, salute. The fuck? Yo, if you can hear it, we can hear it.
Salute this in society of man. Benevolence coming through. Salute to you.
You said your mic still sounds bad, dude.
Mine?
No. I think that was Stunner talking, and his mic sounded bad still.
Stunner, man, what's going on? Stunner never has these problems, man. Stunner, you better turn that trade that Maserati in for a pair of headphones, man. Stunner out here riding the Maserati and they got Jakey's headphones, man. What the hell? That's Sunman shit, man. That's Sunman shit right there, man. You ain't got your shit together, man. All right, let's see.
Once you meet with a TurboTax expert who will do your taxes for you, you're free to do.
I gotta switch to another my other. Okay. Yeah, man, this is a huge problem.
If you've noticed more Memphis drivers driving dangerously, you're not alone. Tonight, Memphis City Council hearing from the public about ways to stop somehow the widespread threat of reckless and dangerous drivers out there. Our Stephen Pimpo reports one woman's close call with a high-speed crash has her taking matters into her own hands.
People living in Memphis's Colonial Acres say drag racers and reckless drivers doing donuts in the street have terrorized the residential neighborhood for at least 6 months.
I can hear them going up and down Willow, up and down Colonial.
One longtime resident who wants to remain anonymous for his own safety told me it's only a matter of time before it leads to tragedy.
There's too many kids and dogs and pedestrians walking around here for that to continue.
Leading right up to Colonial Middle School, one resident tells me he's seen cars tearing down this road going well over 100 miles an hour. And has tried on.
Who you think's going through this nice glider neighborhood, recklessly driving like with a school like right there?
Some brother. Yo, but only one way I could think of to stop this.
Okay.
The police. Perhaps five Sunman police, you know?
Yeah, man, we need. I'm putting a call out for all you brothers to come police your own community, man, so that the white man don't got to do it, man.
On a few occasions to catch it on video. Some of his neighbors are afraid of even doing that.
Several people mentioned that they're actually afraid to speak out against what they're seeing or to even come out of their houses and videotape.
So Leslie Taylor is.
You heard that? The most protected woman in the world, the standard of beauty, the queen of the universe. You better not lay a finger on one of these or you're going to be hanging from a tree. Let's see what she got to say about the situation, man.
Some of his neighbors are afraid of even doing that.
Several people mentioned that they're actually afraid to speak out against what they're seeing or to even come out of their houses and videotape.
So Leslie Taylor is speaking.
Okay. Any thoughts, brothers? The pandemic of reckless driving, man, in Memphis is so bad, man. But in these glider neighborhoods where these mystery people are doing all this reckless driving, the people are afraid to speak out, man. How did that happen in a nickly racist country, man?
Do you remember what a Liberian man said a long while back about traffic in Liberia?
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the recreation of that.
I could see if it was in their community, but yeah, they're taking it into other people's community.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the behavior is the same. Like the rules need not apply.
And videotape.
So Leslie Taylor is speaking on their behalf. After narrowly escaping a head-on crash herself, she's organized a meeting with Memphians and city leadership to try and find a way to make the roads safe again.
People are fed up. Some people are scared. They don't want to live in a city where they feel like they're driving back and forth to work and school on the Indy 500.
City Councilman Ford Canale helped her organize the meeting.
People are scared to drive right now, especially our seniors, those that have kids that are just now turning 16. If my child is getting ready to turn 16, I'm not sure that I would give them the keys to the car.
He says reckless driving is the single largest complaint that he gets through his office.
Did you hear that? Reckless driving is the single largest complaint that he gets through his office.
Helped her organize the meeting.
People are scared to drive right now, especially our seniors, those that have kids that are just now turning 16. If my child is getting ready to turn 16, I'm not sure that I would give them the keys to the car.
He says
Hey man, these are some bold statements to me. Like I don't know. These are some insane statements, man. These ain't like just like, man, it's really bad out here. It needs to change. These are some crazy statements being made about this issue down there, man. Now, Memphis did get a unit to, they got a specialized unit to try to curtail this, and that's how we're going to get into the main event tonight. Tyree Nichols, who was reckless driving and was pulled over, and then he ran from the police and then fought with the police, but he was initially pulled over for reckless driving.
Sure that I would give him the keys to the car.
He says reckless driving is the single largest complaint that he gets through his office.
It's deadly, and more innocent lives are going to be lost if we don't do something about it.
In Memphis, I'm Stephen Pimpo.
Sounds like a huge issue down there.
Yeah, man. It sound like something that the people wanted addressed, man. They wanted this addressed.
I get the impression that that's a common issue as opposed to what happened with these 5 officers.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, man.
We've all seen it. We've reported on it. Drag racing on the interstates. These are called slide shows happening in broad daylight, making Memphis roads especially dangerous. Memphis police tell us there's been a dramatic spike in both since 2020.
And tonight we know that people got a chance to find out some ways that officers are trying to crack down for the new year. Fox 13's Kayla Solomon is joining.
All right, you heard that, right? Listen.
Both since 2020.
And tonight we know that people got a chance to find out some ways that officers are trying to crack down for the new year. Fox 13's Kayla Solomon is joining us live in the Midtown area. Kayla, reckless driving, drag racing, they both go hand in hand.
That's right, Darcy. And it starts with our officers. One announcement that Chief CJ Davis made on behalf of the Memphis Police Department is that they're adding 15 full-time traffic officers that'll focus just on traffic enforcement.
Okay. All right. Imagine if you signed up for this and it ended up on fucking death row and shit, facing 25 years in prison. Because you pulled over a son, man, that was recklessly driving. And he ran. And then when you caught him, he fought. Anything, Fabian, man? I guess not. Yeah, man, it's crazy out here, man.
Fabian could explain to us the mindset of this Sunday.
You gotta drop the playback. The playback.
I think that's Fabian with the playback.
Yeah, that is him. Yeah, that's him.
But he'll give us the whole theory on this son man who why he ran, and then he'll go into the genome of the son man that beat him.
Check.
Yeah, you good, man. What's happening?
Hey, how's it going?
Salute to Acadia. She says, I hope the police fall back entirely from the hoods. Go ahead, Fabian.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of factors involved in this.
Okay.
You know, like, I mean, one thing that's characteristic that you notice a lot is what you would call like risky behavior, like whatever is the opposite of risk aversion, right?
Right.
So this kind of like bold, audacious, visible, risky behavior is a pretty typical way for males to compete in their status hierarchy. And it's interesting. I mean, one thing that comes into it, I was looking at like videos on YouTube of police interactions with some people. And one thing that strikes me is that it's funny. I had when you were looking at that, I had like 1,000 thoughts about it, and now I'm trying to like gather them together. But notions of authority, like the sense of authority. Oh my God! Yeah, no, sorry.
We'll come back.
Yeah. You know what? Let me do that, and let me try to write some of this down so I can collect it a little bit. And
Wait, who are you and where's Fabian, dude?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I told you last night. This format trips me up. I'm not used to it, but I'll see what I can do.
We need that TED Talk. ASAP.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'll try to get it together.
We get back to you, Fabian. Man.
Yeah.
All right.
That's right, Darcy. And it starts with our officers. One announcement that Chief CJ Davis made on behalf of the Memphis Police Department is that they're adding 15 full-time traffic officers that'll focus just on traffic enforcement. Some other highlights from tonight's forum: the community got to ask questions, and one of those was how strictly these drivers are being prosecuted. That was all left up to District Attorney Steve Mulroy, who says that most of the reckless driving we see are Class B misdemeanors, which means it's a $500 fine, and they may have a court date or some may not. But he said
a $500 fine, they may have a court date and some may not. And this is the DA that was had George Floyd and Breonna Taylor's families campaigning for him, even though neither one of them are from Memphis.
But that goes to show you those cops should have known better.
Yeah, it's not worth risking your life to arrest somebody who's putting everyone's life in danger on the streets.
Well, keep in mind what you just said. She don't have their back. They knew that going in. For a
I mean, you
fact,
don't know what
Chief.
she's telling them behind the closed doors. I'm sure she's not going in the meeting like, "Hey guys, we really need to get out here and stop this stuff. I don't have your back, but you're on your fucking own. But I need you to go." She's not telling them that in the meeting.
No. Look, trust me when I tell you, the second the cops saw her bringing Big Dog's family around and talking all this bullshit, it's over with.
Well, the DA is a guy, and the police chief is a woman.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah. I see.
And they may have a court date or some may not. But he said one thing they do know for sure is that there's been a 300% increase in the prosecution of people who are drag racing. Coming up at 10, we'll hear more from some city leaders, and we'll also hear from community members some of those questions that they had for leaders.
Well, that was Fox 13's Kayla Solomon reporting today. You know, we have seen countless videos of reckless driving, people doing donuts in Memphis. Well, this is video that our crews recorded last May at the intersection of National Street and Macon Road. In it, you can see, of course, cars stopped on both sides of the intersection before finally pulling off.
That's just a Mustang doing what Mustangs do in the wild.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Reckless driving is an issue only intensifying in the Bluff City. Tonight, dozens of Memphians sounding off about this reckless driving and drag racing.
A town hall meeting was held by a city council member. WREG's Bria Jones joins us live now from outside the Benjamin Hook Central Library after attending the meeting. Bria, what did they have to say?
Well, Greg and staff tonight was filled with data and suggestions on how to curb reckless driving. There were also tense moments from community members demanding answers to their questions.
Why do we have drag strips in our, do we care more about how quickly we can get to work?
this is a 65% black city. And every time we come to the city and we go to the town hall meetings, it looks like this. What's up, Razzle? What's going on, man?
What up, man? Just catching up with y'all. I don't know what's going on, so I'm gonna be quiet. What up, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Well, we're just talking, but we're gonna get into this Tyree Nichols situation. It's about to be a huge BLM.
Right.
It's gonna bring BLM back, man.
Right. Yo.
Wait
Matter
for
of fact, Razzle, this Saturday I'm hitting the Gucci store. You coming with or what?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
The
Ski
Italian
mask up,
shoes
boys.
run narrow. Just remember that, bro.
Right. Ski mask up. Black Lives Matter.
All day.
Yeah. And this guy, he was originally pulled over by a special unit for reckless driving. He wasn't pulled over by beat cops. He was pulled over by a special reckless driving unit in an unmarked car. And he gets out of his car and he runs. They catch him and he begins to fight. And then, he ended up getting his ass kicked, allegedly, or who knows? They could have been trying to detain him, and he could have got fucked up like that. Who knows? But that's
He's
all that
dead?
happened. Huh? He's
Did he
dead.
die,
Yeah,
though?
he's dead. He's dead. He's in
Bummer.
they fucked him up real bad.
Steve McQueen, bro, for everyone.
Boiling over at Wednesday
Yeah.
night's community meeting.
Look at this, man. What the fuck? This city's 65% black.
I like that the 10 white people still living there care. Like it matters.
Like 100 of them.
Get on Redfin, y'all. It's over.
I think it's funny that they're there thinking that anyone gives a fuck what they have to say.
Yeah. And they can't, and they're there and they know they can't really speak. They can't really say what, like this woman right here who got up, this pasty liberal woman, she knows she better watch her fucking mouth.
Why do we have drag strips in do we care more about how quickly we can get to work?
Frustrations boiling over at Wednesday night's community meeting on reckless driving and drag racing. These are the sights and sounds that have residents fed up. Lauren Giovanetti is upset about drag racing on Highland near the Green Line.
About a year ago, we had 2 drag racers hanging out their windows, shooting at each other with AK-47s. The police came.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
You know, the worst thing is it just sounds regular now, you know? I was like, and then what? What kind of car was it?
Are you regretting those marches yet, Glider Queens? Maybe this is not what you had in mind.
No, not
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, these were I don't think these ones were marching. I think these ones were the type that, like, if anybody they know said, like, tweeted something like anti-BLM, they would like
Check 'em.
blast them. Yeah, check them or something like that. A lot like
Yeah, if their glider men and their family said something at the Thanksgiving table, they had to educate them.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And they get them fired if they clap back too much.
Exactly.
Put them on tape.
These don't look like the type to actually get out there and protest them.
Said about drag racing on Highland near the Green Line.
About a year ago, we had 2 drag racers hanging out their windows, shooting at each other with AK-47s. The police came and they found AK-47 shells littered all over our neighborhood. And it's just enough. Like, we both have little kids.
Councilman Fort Canale held the meeting to look at solutions to curb the problem after a resident came forward with her story.
Starting with MPD, we need more police officers to make the arrests. We need the Attorney General's office to file the charges against them. And we need the judges to hold them accountable for their actions.
On the panel, city engineers, district attorney Steve Mulroy, other elected officials, and members of the Memphis Police Department. According to
That's the police chief right here, the sister right here.
the Memphis Police Department. According to MPD, there has been an uptick in reckless driving since the start of the pandemic. In 2021, 890 people were charged with reckless driving or drag racing. That number grew to 990 in 2022. Chief CJ Davis says the department is beefing up its traffic division to enforce the rules of
Okay.
We need more traffic lights. That's what they're gonna get. More traffic lights.
No, they beefed up their traffic division, man. They got they got a special unit out there that's unmarked cars, and that's the group that encountered our boy Tyree Nichols. It's like it's hopeless, man. The situation is hopeless. They complain about this shit. They cry about this shit. You got to give these guys a fucking mulligan. These guys didn't even get a mulligan. The first time something went wrong, the whole city turned on.
the rules of the road.
We instituted a new traffic plan in the downtown area, which was very concerning because we had race cars just terrorizing our downtown space.
Councilman Canale is hoping new legislation with stricter penalties could be the answer.
It has to stop. People are using cars. They are terrorizing our streets with vehicles and using them as deadly weapons.
As for other solutions, residents say they would like to see a tip line to report reckless driving. They also want to know if it's possible to remove vehicles from offenders. Now reporting live in East Memphis.
Is that a wide angle lens, or they say the camera adds 10 pounds? How many cameras does she have?
No, man.
She's just healthy, man. She got a good personality.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she got a hell of a personality.
Yeah, the only deadly weapon she has to worry about is a fucking fork.
Head game's dumb. They always say that. Yo, just out of curiosity, did the chief throw the guys under the bus, or is she behind the officers?
Under the bus.
Authorities in Memphis are preparing for the release of police body cam.
No, these motherfuckers are under the pavement. These motherfuckers are literally like they're part of the sewage system, the city sewage system. Man, it's a wrap.
Man.
When the bus ran over them, they were turned long ways with the dually.
Yeah, man.
Authorities in Memphis are preparing for the release of police body cam footage showing Tyree Nichols' arrest. 29-year-old Nichols died 3 days after the traffic stop. Police pulled him over for reckless driving, but it soon escalated into a violent altercation.
Now, he's a great guy. He's the greatest guy in the fucking world, and maybe so. But if I'm a cop in Memphis and I pull this guy over, he gets out of the car running, he looks like any other gangbanger street guy in Memphis. He doesn't look like this great guy that they're making him out to be.
But no, they're trained. They should know better. They should just know.
That's why they hired Sunman, so they could tell the good ones from the bad ones. Because us gliders can't tell, man. They should have known, bro.
Yo,
that's a good one.
I've seen this video, and this guy is high as shit. Wait till you see the way he acts. He died. I want to see his toxicology when it comes back.
Oh, I didn't know the body cam footage is out.
No, that I know of.
I thought it comes out tomorrow.
Yes. No, I've already seen it.
Put it in the back chat. I'm not going to play
I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Send it to me. Email it to me.
I don't even know how to email her. I am a fucking Luddite, man. I can barely text.
Hey, these happen so much that Woman probably got it confused with one of the
exactly. Because it comes out tomorrow. But salute to David, man. Salute to David.
No, this is that Patrice or some lady in BLM's cousin or nephew or some shit.
No, this is not him. That was the other one. That was in LA. Yeah, you got to do
wrong, Sunman, Bill.
Yeah,
they all look alike, don't they, Bill?
Yeah,
no, not that one. The other one.
Yeah, this is. They tried that one. That one didn't get traction. This one is the one that's going to bring them back. It's like they that was like a feeler. They put that out as a feeler, and they said, "Nah, we can't use this because that guy was recklessly driving too." That was crazy. He got pulled over for reckless driving too. So that's probably why you made the mistake. They both
but it's probably similar in all fairness. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Well, and that guy was a wreck.
Yeah.
Escalated into a violent altercation. The Memphis police chief says the treatment of Nichols was reckless and humane, but she's calling on the community to respond safely once the video is released.
E.T. looking son of a bitch.
What the Nichols family feels. I expect you to feel outrage in the disregard of basic human rights, as our police officers have taken an oath to do the opposite of what transpired on the video. I expect our citizens to exercise their First Amendment right to protest, to demand action and results. But we need to ensure our community is safe in this process. None of this is a calling card for inciting violence or destruction.
Why do these people get to protest because some goddamn clown got fucking killed by the cops? Why is that always like, okay, well, you can protest, you just got like, no, motherfucker. Every time somebody gets killed by the police, you don't get to fucking protest.
I mean, and they didn't even get tried yet, dog. She's already like, hey, man, I know they fucked up. Just don't hit the downtown area too bad like last time. Just stay on the outskirts.
The
like,
ones that she know are going to protest, she thinks them as their children. That's why she's talking like that.
All they heard was, yeah, we fucked up. Go get it. My bad. Here.
Yeah. It's just
like
sad,
I said,
man.
Gucci's down the block.
I don't even know they got a Gucci store in Memphis. Memphis is gutter, man. If they got one in Memphis, I like salute.
They about to ransack Elvis's house, bro.
They gonna hit up the Dollar Tree and Five Below. Gonna get hit early. Foot Locker, Shoe City. I don't even know if they got that down there. Wherever they sell tennis shoes and wherever they sell fucking urban wear and shit like that, gonna get hit quick.
In the disregard of basic human rights, as our police officers have taken an oath to do the opposite of what transpired on the video. I expect our citizens to exercise their First Amendment right to protest, to demand action and results. But we need to ensure our community is safe in this process. None of this is a calling card for inciting violence or destruction on our community or against our citizens.
CBS News correspondent Elise Preston is in Memphis covering the story for us. Elise?
Elise, we know it seems as though, based on what we've just heard, protests are expected, anger is expected. The chief of police there saying it's understandable because what we're witnessing in this video is inhumane. What are we hearing?
You hear what he just said? The chief of police said it's understandable.
Yep. You see her reading that whole shit too? She didn't even come up with this idea. She's a fucking puppet. Look at her eyes.
So now everybody in Memphis, the chief of police says it's understandable if you go protest. And I don't think she said that. I think she said that you have a First Amendment right to go do it.
Nah, she co-signed that shit low key, bro.
Yeah, she did.
She wasn't like, hey man, why don't we figure out what really happened before we go fucking nuts, y'all? Like, we don't even know what happened yet. We don't got the video. Leave the 7-Elevens alone or whatever the fuck they got down there. Like, she didn't say none of that.
Yo, Razzle, hold on, bro. I thought you were from the nation. You already know it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
None of that shit matters, B.
Yeah. I know, but at least she should be. Yeah, I get it, but she was not telling nobody to chill though.
Yeah, she wasn't. She definitely.
That was a cosign, and it wasn't from her. It was from her bosses.
Yeah.
Protests are expected. Anger is expected. The chief of police there saying it's understandable because what we're witnessing in this video is inhumane. What are we hearing out of the district attorney's office about what the potential charges are upcoming?
So we haven't heard specifically that charges could come. You know, it is very
okay. So that happened a while ago because they have been charged. So let's get into that.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Lexi Petrovich as we are bringing you this most recent breaking news out of Tennessee.
Bitch look like a thumb.
We have had our eyes on here. We now know that the 5 officers have been charged with his murder. I want to pull up this tweet again to show you exactly when this news came in. You can see the officers there. Let's talk a little bit further about what we know about this investigation so far. So all 5 of those former officers who were fired following the death of Tyree Nichols have been booked into the Shelby County Jail. Those officers, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills Jr., and Justin Smith were all fired from the Memphis Police Department back on January 20th following an internal employment investigation into their confrontation with Nichols. Court records.
Oh, that's his son. He got a little biracial son.
Yeah, left a little mixed baby that he wasn't gonna see in 2 years.
Well, the family.
Jalen, we're gonna miss you, man.
The family said he was a good dad, man. I read that. The family said he was a great father.
Oh,
and
man,
judging
my
from
bad.
this picture, man, I mean, look, the picture in their account. I mean, come on.
He was divested, I see.
Yeah, he's definitely divested, man. Sisters see this, half of them going down protest.
For real.
No. This ain't enough because Floyd had a white girl in
the one from Minnesota, the one that you know what I'm talking about, not Floyd, but the other one.
Minnesota. Or,
it was like a city by Minnesota.
You talking about Deontay, whatever, Wright. Deontay Wright.
Anyway, whatever his name was.
Yeah, right. He had a white. Yeah, a lot of the BLM poster children have white girlfriends. Yeah.
Yo, you think? I know, chicks be feeling some type of way about it, but do you think they end up still fucking with the dudes because the baby have good hair and stuff? They can't resist the baby's good hair. Like, I hate him for it, but goddamn, some light eyes and good hair. Look at that shit.
Yeah, no doubt. But listen, cute kid, man, and salute. I feel bad for this kid. His dad's gone, and they said the dad is a great father, and it's sad. I just hope he doesn't have any tweets online disparaging dark-skinned women or something, or disparaging black women. That'll be what turns them. As long as you got having a white girl and some beige babies, that ain't they used to that. They desensitized to that by now.
With Nichols. Court records show that those officers each face 2 counts of official misconduct, 1 count of official oppression, 1 count of second-degree murder, 1 count of
oppression. That's some new shit. What?
Counts of official misconduct, 1 count of official oppression, 1 count.
Official oppression? I'd never heard.
Me neither.
That sounds like a law they made in a barber shop or some shit.
Right. It sounds like a George Floyd law, like the new movement.
Official oppression. And the first time I'm hearing it is 5 black cops.
Damn, that's fucking bonkers.
Hey, you know what this is telling the Sunmen too, bro? It's like you see them; they got them all up there. It used to only be white cops, but now they really coming for everybody. If you on the wrong side, they coming for you. Oh, sorry, is that better?
You just gotta not move it. It's hot. That's all I'm saying.
What about like this? I got on a pair of headphones and the other microphone. I got 2 headphones on just to talk to y'all. I look ridiculous.
Just try not to touch the microphone.
Oh, that's because it slipped off of my first.
We need the one with the one Sunman cop that be coming out here in Faro. We need some perspective over here.
Yeah, I'm putting on a call. Any cops in our nation, any cops watching right now, I'm gonna put the link is in the description box. I'm putting the link in the chat. Is there any law enforcement officers? Anybody in law enforcement, please come up and please share your thoughts with us, man. Please.
Count of second-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, and 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping. The Shelby County District Attorney is expected.
They charged the cops with kidnapping. What the? They were trying to arrest him. He was fighting.
Damn.
What the fuck?
It's a tightrope. It looks like, you gotta fucking be perfect.
This some new shit. You getting charged with oppression and kidnapping for trying to arrest somebody?
For doing what we asked you to do.
For doing what we begged you to do.
Conduct, 1 count of official oppression, 1 count of second-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, and 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping. The Shelby County District Attorney is expected to hold a news conference this afternoon at 2 o'clock Central Time. Of course, we'll be bringing you that update here on Live Now from Fox. They'll be giving us an update into this investigation. So this is the most recent news that we are following. That traffic stop happened back on January 7th. Now, we haven't got any body camera video of exactly what happened during that struggle just yet. We are expecting that to not be released until tomorrow, but we do expect some sort of update from officials in Tennessee today. So what we want to do right now is play out the latest remarks from the police chief, who issued a statement last night telling people ahead of today's announcement to not act out violently following the new details that are going to come to light. Let's listen in here on Live Now from Fox.
In light of the horrific circumstances surrounding the death of Tyree Nichols, it is absolutely incumbent upon me, your chief, to address the status of what the Memphis Police Department is doing, has done, and will continue to do in furtherance of finding truth in this tragic loss, ensuring we communicate with honesty and transparency, and that there is absolute accountability for those responsible for Tyree's death. As you know, 5 Memphis police officers were terminated last week. These officers were found to be directly responsible for the physical abuse of Mr. Nichols. Concurrent within that investigation, other MPD officers are still under investigation for department policy violations.
So these 5, they're not stopping with these 5. Tonic T says, salute Op Nation, can't blame the Sun Cops. They hit like a train and thought they were only giving him love taps. I tell you all the time, man, Sun Man hit hard, man.
Some infractions less egregious than others.
Go ahead.
As this investigation and other external investigations continue, I promise full and complete cooperation from the Memphis Police Department with the Department of Justice, the FBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and the Shelby County District Attorney's Office to determine the entire scope of facts that contributed to Tyree Nichols' death.
We just went over it, lady. Thugs and goons and steppers and hood figures been fucking terrorizing the streets of Memphis with reckless driving. And you, lady, formed a task force to attack it and address the problem of reckless driving.
Facts.
From being your chief of police, I am a citizen of this community we share. I am a mother. I am a caring human being who wants the best for all of us. This is not just a professional failing. This is a failing of basic humanity toward another individual.
Wow, so she convicted him. There's no way they can get a fair trial. They're gonna have to try this case in another state. You can't try this case in Memphis with the police chief saying this.
No way.
You know what this is what I learned. If I'm a cop, I'm taking a full year off during elections, man. When that's time for the presidential shit, I'm fucking gone, man.
Exactly.
But this goes to my point earlier. The DA doesn't have your back, and you know it. The police chief's not gonna have your back, and you know it.
Damn.
What are you supposed to do?
Product of Cook County says, 99.99% of the time, people will always say their family member or friend was at the least a decent person. Yeah, I mean, I've been to one funeral, my Uncle Donald, where they actually still like, nah, he was a good guy. He was a good guy, but they talked him. He kept a lot of shit going, a lot of trouble.
He was a Rolling Stone.
Oh man, he was a doozy, man. He wasn't a bad guy, but he was a street guy. He was in the.
He enjoyed a good time.
Yeah, he got arrested for terrorism back in the 70s because he didn't get caught at the airport with a gun. He got caught on the plane with a gun. And I don't know how he got caught with a plane while he was on the gun. But anyway, that's just indicative of his whole life. So anyway, but he served in the military, so he was a good guy. But he just had a rough life, and they went on him at his funeral, and I was like, damn, one person after another got up and was like, everybody gave like a what do you call it? A caveat before they gave the eulogy. Like, yeah, he wasn't shit. I know he was crazy. I know
he owed me money, but
yeah, it was crazy. That's the only person that I ever heard people talk bad about, like when they were dead. But salute to Christy Webster, man, coming through once again, man. The GOAT, aka Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. She says, I looked it up. Official definition: the abuse of their authority while on duty and engaging in unlawful conduct with individuals who are in custody.
That's oppression?
That's oppression? Is that what you're saying, Christy? That's oppression?
I think that's what she's saying.
The abuse of their authority while on duty and engaged in unlawful conduct with the individual who is in their custody. Okay. Yeah, but that's that. How many times has we seen that or an arrest? Like, if they're arresting a son, man, and they're like, put your hands, you've already ran. They've already had to chase you down. They've tackled you. There's a fight going on. You're not putting your hands behind your back. You're fighting, you're biting, you're scratching, you're pinching, you're clawing. Sooner or later, one of them's going to start fucking stealing you in your face, man.
I might sound really old, but back in the day, like I haven't gotten in trouble in a minute, but like if you ran, you just knew that they were gonna beat you up if they caught you.
You knew they were gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, you're like, okay, yep, because you made them run. They didn't feel like running.
It was like an understanding. Like if they caught you, you're getting your ass beat. You kind of accepted it, you know.
Oh, and if you put your hands on them, that ass whooping was for the record books.
Oh yeah. But let me say this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but everything that she's saying right now, she could literally have the DA and the mayor behind her talking about, yeah, the cops know this. Now, I get it. Some guys, it's in their blood. They're going to, I get it. But they didn't know this?
I think that, every cop, it's just like you meet a girl and shit, and somebody tells you the girl ain't shit, and you like, nah, you don't know her. I talked to her on the phone for 4 hours last night, man. She's a sweet girl. I mean, they probably know, but they just cops, man. They're career cops. That's their career.
This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane. And in the vein of transparency, when the video is released in the coming days, you will see this for yourselves. I expect you to feel what the Nichols family feels. I expect you to feel outrage in the disregard of basic human rights.
Was they yelling World Star when they was whooping his ass or some shit like that? Cause god damn.
Right. Like she going in, but here's my thing. They told us that the George Floyd video was bad, right? They told us that the Rashard Brooks video was bad. Rashard Brooks kicked the two officers' asses, took their taser, shot it at them when we saw the video, and they still flipped it like, well, they didn't have to shoot him. I mean, he was only shooting the taser. Taser's not a deadly weapon. So you got to be careful when they talk about how bad this video is. Now, it might be true that it's pretty bad, but I'm skeptical because I saw the Floyd tape and I saw them doing a police maneuver called recovery position. When I saw Rashard Brooks, I saw him shooting their taser at them.
Or the guy in Wisconsin,
When I saw Jacob Blake, I saw him fucking trying to stab one of them with a knife and then walking to the car and reaching under the fucking seat.
Right.
I mean, like all these ones are so they tell you how egregious it was, how bad it was, and then you see the fucking body cam and it's like, what the fuck? You left a lot out. They always leave a bunch out, but she's the police chief, and she's going hard like this. This is not good for them, man. Salute to Catalyst, man. Catalyst says, politics aside, super smash on the Memphis police chief. God.
As our police officers have taken an oath to do the opposite of what transpired on the video. I expect our citizens to exercise their First Amendment right to protest, to demand action and results. But we need to ensure our community is safe in this process. None of this is a calling card for inciting violence or destruction on our community or against our citizens. In our hurt, in our outrage and frustration, there is still work to be done to build each other up, to continue the momentum of improving our police and community relationships and partnerships, to show those who watch us now that this behavior is not what will define our community and our great city. This is not a reflection of the good work that many Memphis police officers do every day. What comes next is our defining moment. What we all do next can be that reflection of our character. I am not wavering in my commitment to you to have a police force that is here to serve and protect you. Those 5 officers and others failed our community, and they failed the Nichols family, and that is beyond regrettable. I have met with and offered condolences to Tyree's mother and father, and have asked for the support of our community leaders and clergy in this extremely difficult moment. But words are only temporary salves that need to be followed by true, responsible action and change. It is my intent as a proactive measure to ensure that a complete and independent review is.
Oh yeah, she's terrified of what's on this video. She's terrified because this is abnormally throwing them under the bus. Like she threw them under a tank. She didn't throw them under a bus. She's throwing them under a fucking Sherman tank, man.
Conducted on all of the Memphis Police Department's specialized units, and the commitment of my executive leadership to ensure that policies and procedures are adhered to in our daily encounters with the citizens we are sworn to serve. In the days ahead,
Yeah, she's driving a steamroller over top of these
the
cops.
family of Tyree Nichols, the Memphis Police Department, and our great city. In light of the
Okay, so that was the update from the police chief last night, telling people that they would hope that things can still remain peaceful once this new information comes out, once the police body camera comes out, acknowledging that they have failed the family of Tyree Nichols after what happened. Of course, we haven't seen any of this ourselves yet, but they know that what is going to come out is going to be very difficult to watch and to understand what happened. So the biggest news here this hour right now is that those 5 officers have been charged with murder after being fired back on January 20th. They
Salute to Leroy B, man. Leroy says the police chief is a mammy. I mean, shit. I mean, mammy. I don't. She's like a Mammy said she's a woolly mammy.
Authorities in Memphis.
Woolly mammy.
I don't like to place bets, but I guarantee you that when the tape comes out that this guy was not going, oh, yes, sir. Would you like my wallet, please? Thank you. And my driver's license, and here's my insurance. But
No
none of
way.
that happened.
No way.
We have not seen the video, and I think because the public has not seen the video, there is great concern here about what the response is going to be. But we do know that this was a vicious attack, really, on the part of these 5 officers. And there are a lot of questions. We heard from community members who told us that they are worried this place is going to blow. But the thing that has tempered some of this is the police chief's reaction. That she quickly reacted, she fired the officers, and the community.
That incited this, you fucking idiot. Did you hear what she said? See, it shows how they think. They don't know black people. They talk all this blackity black stuff, but they don't know black people. What that police chief said was basically, yeah, them niggas, hey, I ain't with them, man. They on their own, man. I ain't got nothing to do with this, man. That's what she said. She didn't temper down anything. Yeah, like Christy Webster says, it's bullshit, man. Nate Wade says someone should rub Christy's back. I don't do feet. Yeah, man, we need Christy to get a spa day, man. Like an Odd Nation spa day, man.
And the family are demanding charges, and those two things may tamp down emotions to see that something is finally being done in this case.
Is that Don Lemon they sent
The
out?
Memphis police chief speaks out in a recorded statement, making clear there will be absolute accountability for those responsible for the death of 29-year-old Tyree Nichols.
This is not just a professional failing. This is a failing of basic humanity toward another individual. This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane.
Nichols died earlier this month after a violent arrest by 5 officers, 5 Memphis police officers and 2 members of the Memphis Fire Department have been terminated. Nichols
and they firing firefighters. Jesus Christ.
2 members of the Memphis Fire Department have been terminated. Nichols' family is calling for charges to be filed as the community anxiously awaits the police camera footage to be released.
The family wants nothing but the absolute most charge that they can bring, and what they want are murder charges.
Attorneys for the family have already viewed the footage and
but they did do murder charge. This was earlier. That was earlier. Let me do something a little later. This shit is sickening, man. It's fucking sickening.
You know, I don't see any end in sight either, though. You know.
The other shit too, man. They do it so much with every fucking thing. You can't even take it when it happens seriously until you see it, and you sound all callous and shit. But
right, and it's gonna keep happening because they're gonna keep doing it. These dudes, they're gonna keep doing what they do.
Yeah, and I don't give a fuck what happened to this guy. Like, I care about the little kids that get shot while they're playing a fucking Nintendo. I care about the fucking kids.
Or sleeping in their bed. Shit.
Yeah, the shit we talk about on this channel. Fuck, man, I don't give a fuck about the guy that was reckless. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me.
You mean the shit that they don't talk about?
Yeah.
We have some breaking news to get to right now out of Memphis. Charges are now filed against the 5 officers fired in the investigation into the death of Tyree Nichols. The 29-year-old died just days after a traffic stop earlier this month.
Yeah, an independent review of the preliminary autopsy shows Nichols was severely beaten and he suffered extensive bleeding. The body camera video from that traffic stop has not yet been released.
Joining us now from Memphis is NBC News correspondent Antonia Hilton. Hey, Antonia, so it's been nearly a week since these 5 officers were fired from the force. Walk us through these charges that we're just now getting.
Hey, Savannah and Vicky. Look, the city here is tense right now, but people are going to be relieved to hear that now not only are these 5 officers in custody, but they're looking at serious charges that include aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, but most importantly to the residents of Memphis, second-degree murder charges. And that's exactly the level of charges that people were looking for, because while they have not seen the video, the descriptions that they've heard from the family, from their representation, but even out of acknowledgement from local leadership here and the police department itself, that what they're going to see is horrific and really a violation of humanity, that is the level of charges that people wanted. And what we understand right now, what sources tell NBC News, is that while we're going to hear more about these charges at the 2 p.m. local time, 3 p.m. Presser that's going to happen here at the DA's office, we're not likely to see the video until tomorrow afternoon or evening. And the hope here is that coming forward with accountability, more information, that a sign that the city is going to hold these officers accountable, is going to be received as sort of good news at a time when, of course, people are going to be in incredible pain for a long time. But the hope from some officials that we spoke to.
Why are people going to be in incredible pain? They didn't fucking know this guy. They wouldn't get this guy. They wouldn't get this guy a fucking penny with a hole in it if he was fucking begging. If he was at a gas station and he said, "Hey, I ran out of gas. Can anybody help me?" Nobody gave him a fucking penny with a hole in it.
You gotta understand, dog. It could have been me.
Here's something else that nobody thinks about when you go in a fight. Everybody's been in a fight, right? Well, not everybody's been in a fight for your life. It's a different animal. So when you go hands-on with one of these people and say they're on drugs and in a delirium or whatever, it's a fight for their life. So that person is doing some crazy shit. And now you got all these rules. Oh, you can't rear naked choke somebody anymore to control them. You can't do this. You can't do that. So you're trying to fight on one leg with both hands behind your back. And everybody ends up getting fucking hurt.
Something that hasn't been mentioned too is us gliders. We turn red when you start whooping our asses. You can really tell. You can see the damage immediately. It's like, oh, I got him there. I got him there. We start glowing. It hurts us in
Charging
boxing.
the officers first is going to
Those noses hurt y'all in boxing.
bring the city to a place where there can be a dialogue about this, where there can be peaceful protests and a conversation, and people feel respected by the action taken by authorities here.
All right, Antonia. So you're saying that by tomorrow we may see this body cam video released to the public. We know there's a federal investigation that is also underway at this point. What do you know about that? And has the family responded at all to this latest breaking news?
We're waiting to hear what the family is going to say now that the officers have received these serious criminal charges. We're hoping that perhaps we might hear from them later today. And we heard that from two sources, this information about the body cam video being available tomorrow. Really, everyone in Memphis is bracing.
When the last time this nigga talked to Tyree, man? This is right. Uncle, what is it, uncle or something? Last time he talked to Tyree, man. I want to know. I want to look at phone records. I want to know when all these family members. Because remember when Floyd popped up? Floyd hanging out in front of a liquor store using a damn $20 face, got to fit 20. And as soon as he died, all these people with suits and fucking degrees showed up. He was my cousin. Like, the fuck is going on, man?
Or even here, Laquan, I don't know, Laquan McDonald, same shit, same scenario. Nobody gave a fuck about this kid until he was a DCFS ward.
Yeah, I did. I remember him. Yeah, he was a bad.
And then his uncle, who's a pastor, pops up, and he, where were you, motherfucker, when he was alive on PCP?
Right.
Sort of final step, but. You know, in terms of the investigation, the federal investigation is going to continue now, really uninterrupted by what we've learned here. There are a number of investigative bodies here that are involved. You know, not only is there an investigation of what happened with these 5 officers from local, state, and federal officials, but also 2 fire department members who are also under investigation for their actions when they arrived on the scene and, you know, in the words of people here, were responsible for taking care of Tyree Nichols and in the final, you know, moments of his life. And so
they weren't fuck that. They weren't responsible for taking care of him because this bullshit, this serve and protect. Police supposed to serve and protect. Look, whore, when you call the police and tell them that your fucking boyfriend is kicking your ass, when the police show up, you don't want them to serve him. You want them to protect you from him. You want them to arrest him and put him in a cage, at least for the night.
They need him. They need them to.
Black people always pull to serve. They supposed to serve and protect. No, that's not that's what's written on the side of the thing. If it's a fucking hostage situation, your boyfriend got a gun to your head and he's fucking yelling demands out the window at the SWAT team, you don't want them to fucking serve him. You want them to fuck a sniper to blow his fucking brains out.
Like that lady at the Walmart.
Yeah.
Hear more about all of this today at the presser coming up shortly, but really there is a bit of relief now that people feel they have a sense of the charges that are going to be faced by these officers here.
NBC News correspondent Antonia Hilton for us on this news that broke just minutes ago. Antonia, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top.
You see how they waited for the weekend to drop that shit,
public...
so when people got nothing to do.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Oh God, here's a doozy.
Border. During today's press conference, his family talked about his skateboarding and shared this video of him doing what he loved. His fellow skaters say his family called out to them asking for support while they watched that video of Tyree's final moments. WRAG's Stacey Jacobson was at City Hall this morning. And Stacey, what happened?
Well, April, this was unlike any protest I've ever been to. Instead of shouting and chanting, instead these skaters wanted their boards, the sound of them on the pavement, to send a message. As the skateboard of Joshua Adams glides across the plaza in front of Memphis City Hall, he wonders.
You never know, like when you're like, if you
look at all these fucking 30-year-old fucking dudes running around. Get a job, motherfucker.
My God. I don't know what I want more.
I thought they were gonna be like teenagers or something.
I know, right?
Fucking man, what the fuck is going on?
I'd rather see a riot than a bunch of old ass dudes tapping skateboards, bro.
Right. Yeah, man, burn it down. Fuck it, you right.
This shit is crazy.
You know, skated across somebody else's tracks before you.
He's thinking about fellow skateboarder Tyree Nichols. Adams is here at the request.
And they suck.
And that's a bullshit ollie.
These guys suck.
Right, do some real shit. Let me see some.
Now this will make me believe in crisis actors right here, man. These crisis actors, man.
Right.
On, man.
Can they manual?
Of the Nichols family, while they're inside City Hall, watching video of the police confrontation that led to his death and the firing of 5 Memphis police officers.
Like they knew that he loved skateboarding and that was his, major passion. And so them asking, us to be here was sort of the calling.
He's one of dozens of members of the Memphis skateboard.
Look at these. Yo, if you don't get a fucking job, man, and fucking take care of your fucking family, you out here skateboarding all day.
Complaining about the young skaters don't got no respect for the old school cats.
These young skaters.
We came up with that 360 kickflip, man. They just come into that shit.
What the fuck?
Supporting community here to make sure their message of support lands with the family and spurs action from city leaders. There's no shouting or chanting, just signs with messages like Skaters for Justice and Rest in Peace, and the rumble of skateboards and chatter.
We felt like this was a...
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
You see the other one, too? Looked like he was in the Smiths video or some shit, just walking in the rain in some skinny jeans and looking down.
Right. Man,
These guys are awful.
This is already getting really strange, man. I think we in for it, man. I think like Hong Kong said, I think it's gonna be a crazy situation, man.
Positive and hopeful way to respond to a tragedy that shouldn't have happened.
You notice one thing, and I don't know if y'all noticed this. No one's talking about, I knew Tyree. Oh yeah, he used to do this. Oh yeah, he used to get like this. None of these people know him.
No one said like he used to love the nose grind. Like no one said that shit, bro.
None of these people know him. And you want me to tell you why? Probably he just came to Memphis a couple years ago. He's not from Memphis. He just came there a couple years ago. I think he was looking for a job or some shit happened.
Yeah, but how big is the 35-year-old skateboard community?
I mean, in Memphis, the 35-year-old skateboard community in Memphis, man. I mean, it looks huge, man. I mean, you got He looks pretty big, man.
You know they was looking for some more brothers. They had to get a lesbian already, man. That's how small it was, man. They got a them on the second one.
They put a Craigslist ad out like anybody know. We're looking for actors for a skateboard movie. We're making a video about skateboarding.
Hey, do you know who Tony Hawk is? Do you like the Ollie? Come on down and talk to us.
Right, it's crazy.
When I saw the call for, skaters to come out and show support today, I'm like, well, I'm a skate mom, and
damn, they're reaching, Chief.
Proof. You've called it.
Oh,
Crisis actors, man. It's gotta be.
This shit is crazy.
I just felt the need to show that his life mattered.
What is this, right? Who the fuck?
I just felt the need to make it about me.
Who is that? This thing, man.
That's probably the leader. He probably be going hard on the fucking skateboard. Huh?
You know that skateboard, fucking scared as hell every time he comes around that bitch. Like, no.
Right, he's hanging in there. But no, watch that. Watch when they do all these 360s, 1080s on the fucking rails. You don't know.
Mattered.
As they take turns rolling up and down the plaza, they feel Nichols's presence.
In many ways, like the tricks that he may have done in the city, the clips that he may have made, they're out there somewhere.
They say
may have.
They don't know him from a Canada. They don't know him from
AKA I'm black, but I don't know him.
I don't know.
Right, what was his name again?
Right.
He's like, we're gonna miss Tyre, bro. We miss Tyre.
Oh, man, I fucked up when they did the Tyrone, man.
Damn.
I'm gonna miss Maurice, man.
In many ways, like the tricks that he may have done.
Marcus is gonna be long missed.
The clips that he may have made, they're out there somewhere.
They say this is the best way they have to honor his legacy.
Yeah, and the skaters at the protest today say they also want prosecutors to file charges against those 5 officers who've now been fired from Memphis police, and they want authorities to release the video of the incident. We learned later today at the press conference here at the church that is due to happen, but in about 1 to 2 weeks, according to the family's attorney. Reporting live.
Oh, my God, man.
They also mentioned skating's not a crime.
Yeah, right. God, dog.
We had that bumper sticker when I was a kid.
Skating. It's not a death penalty. No one should die for skating. I hate these people, man. I mean, and I'm not saying that. I hate these people. Let's see what else going on in Memphis, man. So while we at it, man, let's see
where's Brown Sugar would be good for this one,
Memphis
right?
barber shot and killed while
Brown Sugar, man. Brown Sugar.
Memphis barber
Brown Sugar licking her wounds after that beat down. So now,
yeah, but she should hit the link for this one. This is up her alley, right, Memphis?
I'm just messing around. I think Brown Sugar.
She's making sure her guy ain't getting trolled away by some white gay dude.
You said what? Brown Sugar what?
What happened with Brown Sugar?
I showed the video today of.
Oh yeah.
So it's like so.
She should hit the link though, man. This is up her alley.
I think Brown Sugar did a great job, man. On that discussion, she made some great points, man.
A Memphis barber shot and killed while cutting hair. It happened on a house call in Southeast Memphis.
So is the community outraged about this? Is they gonna loot and fucking tear down shit and break in the Family Dollar and shit and steal all the fucking paper towels?
Memphis barber shot and killed while cutting hair. It happened on a house call in Southeast Memphis.
WREG's Bria Jones joins us live now after speaking with the victim's fiance and friends. Bria?
Well, Greg and Steph, the victim's fiance, says if he wasn't at home, he was here at the shop. MPD says the 29-year-old victim was killed in a double shooting in Southeast Memphis tonight. His family says the pain is still unreal. This bright light shines above the chair where Darwin Hill lived out his dreams of being an all-star barber.
He was on a mission to, get somewhere.
The 29-year-old's life was cut short Saturday around 1:30 in the morning while doing what he loved, cutting hair. Memphis police say he was killed in a double shooting when someone fired into this home in Southeast Memphis.
So he didn't even He didn't even see the person. He's in there cutting somebody. Hey man, you doing house calls today? Yeah, man, yeah.
Oh,
Hey man,
my
come by,
God.
man. Like, give me line this shit up for me. You over there, yeah, man. So yeah, go ahead. What happened here? My baby mama trip. Bang, 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 bang. I mean, like, what the fuck?
If he would have showed up at 10 when he said he was gonna, it never would have happened.
Right. This shit is crazy.
He on POC time. What are you talking about, dog?
This is
My bad. I wasn't being sensitive.
Yeah, sensitive. You know, you being insensitive, man.
Loved cutting hair. Memphis police say he was killed in a double shooting when someone fired into this home in southeast Memphis. Detectives say a woman was also critically wounded.
He was finishing up. He was getting ready to, walk out and head home.
Hill's death leaving his fiancée.
Damn.
I walk out and head home.
Hill's death leaving his fiancée, Dariana Anderson, in a world of hurt.
It just felt like my future got erased. Like, it just got moved, like it got snatched or something.
Hill was the father of
I think the ugly tree left her in a world of hurt.
You gotta stop doing that during the video because they can't hear when you do that.
My future got erased. Like, it just got moved, like it got snatched or something.
Hill was the father of an 8-year-old girl, and the two had just welcomed their first child together, a son just...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just commenting on how handsome she is.
Oh, yeah, she's a beauty queen, but that's his beauty queen, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, to his eyes, she's beautiful. She is cute with those glasses. Man, she's cute, man. There ain't nothing wrong with that girl, man. You know,
she's 2 kids deep, bro. Like,
she a
give her a break.
Memphis joint. Yeah, she a little Memphis joint. Little Memphis like Philly, man. It's just like, you know, she just a little Joe from Memphis, man. She all right. We seen Glorilla, man. She look good. She look better than Glorilla.
Snatched or something.
Hill was the father of an 8-year-old girl, and the two had just welcomed their first child together, a son just days after his birthday in December.
I'm really living my biggest fear, my worst nightmare. I don't wish this on nobody.
Hill worked at Penny Hardaway's Presents Chris Style Celebrity Salon downtown. Owner Christopher Rhodes says Hill had attended a daddy-daughter dance earlier that day.
It's hard on me, because I believed in him from the beginning. It's taken away a life, precious life, taken away a person.
Yeah, like he wasn't beefing. He wasn't doing like he just in there cutting hair, and somebody comes and shoots into the house from the street.
Sounds senseless.
And he didn't even need the picture of him with this kid. He went to the daddy-daughter dance. Like, he's involved.
Yeah, he's like lives with the fucking baby mother of his other kid, man.
So now that kid has to figure it out.
This type of shit. This the shit that pisses me off. Not that fucking somebody getting arrested for fucking reckless driving and running and then getting caught and fighting with the cops all high and shit. That shit, I don't give a fuck about that shit. This shit right here pisses me off, man.
Yeah, they always end up killing Mr. Rogers.
Shit fucking crazy, man.
I know they really do, man. It's never like, yeah, he got hit by a stray bullet, but he was a fucking asshole. It's just this guy right here. Family, kids, career, trying to do his best, and no one even pays attention.
Taking away a
helping the community.
Taking away a person that would be so impactful to the new generation.
An Impact community activist and client Devontae Hill says was senselessly erased by gun violence.
He was super excited about, being able to build and establish a family that he never had. And it's just incredibly painful to see what has happened to him.
The family has started a GoFundMe to support his fiancée while she is out on maternity leave. At this time, MPD says no arrests have been made. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers at 528-CASH. And I'm reporting live downtown, Bria Jones.
Jesus Christ.
Where are those skateboarding crisis actors?
I know, right? They're going to talk to people with hair? Like, Barbara got killed. Let's talk to people
where's
with
the
hair.
hair fucking average?
She's out of breath carrying a sentence.
What's that?
She's out of breath carrying on a conversation.
Stop,
but it's just fucking annoying, man.
You gonna hop off my girl, Bria.
I know. She's around the whole city at the same damn time.
Oh my God, man! Salute to James Ivy. He says the taxpayers of Memphis going to dig deep to pay this check. You'll be left with a lot less police too. Yeah, that's true. The family gonna get paid off this. Salute to Brown Sugar, man. The floor is yours, Brown Sugar.
First of all, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a little under the weather still. First of all, a lot of people was very mean and disrespectful to me. So, and it was that time of the month for me as well. So mentally, I could not handle it. And the reason I couldn't get my point across because I was traveling, I was in a hotel, I couldn't get loud and get my point across that night.
Are you serious or you joking, man?
I'm dead serious. That night with the show with AP, I couldn't even get my point across right because I told you I was traveling. I had went out of town.
Because you were riding the cotton pony.
But
hold up. What happened?
What people like AP need to understand, though, Ike, is that Brown Sugar is right. If you take away like the free shit from these people, it's gonna be a party.
Yeah,
that's what they don't understand. Apparently,
can you just kind of let us know what happened?
The
like
last
a quick
video,
thing?
the last video.
The video.
Okay.
So which one am I? I'm the black ghetto cop. That's who I am.
I mean, you are. I couldn't find a good picture of a sexy correction.
I like that picture.
That was a good one.
I like that picture.
I didn't want to make you a fat, like a busted correction officer. That's the only pictures I could find of correction officer. They didn't look good.
I know that's wrong.
Okay. Good. Yeah,
But you
man.
understand that, though. I was hearing that. You understand that if you take away the free shit, the safety
Yeah,
nets.
definitely. No, definitely. I mean,
So why doesn't AP and them understand that then?
I told Brown Sugar on the video. I was riding with Brown Sugar on that.
But why don't they understand that?
Because I mean, because here's the thing, man. People are looking for solutions, man. They don't realize that the solution gonna make it worse.
Right.
Well, there's no money in a cure. The money is in searching for the cure.
But I'm not a fan of pie in the. But I'm not a fan of pie in the sky bullshit, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they're thinking of it like your kid. Okay, your kid's doing bad in school. You take away their fucking PlayStation and their cell phone, and they're gonna want to get their PlayStation and their cell phone back, so they're gonna buckle down and make good grades. They don't understand that this type of kid, man, is gonna fucking kill you and shit in your sleep.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Crime would definitely increase because now they're robbing you because they're hungry for food.
Right. Am I happy about free shit? No, I'm not happy about it, but be realistic though.
And my point is, I sleep good at night. I don't care if Talisha and her 12 kids with her 10 baby daddies getting $2,000 worth of food stamps. And I don't give a flying flip. My problem is, as long as Talisha ain't run up on you with no AK-47, carjacking you for your purse and your wallet, why should you give a flying flip?
Well, fuck her. Well, I want to put that out there too. Fuck that lady too.
Well, you don't got to worry about Felicia. You got to worry about her 12 fucking kids, whether they got food or not.
They're kids. It's these grown men out here that's doing all the robbing.
What do you think? They just
But 13. Yeah, we got 13-year-olds out here robbing too.
I can see. Look, that's what I'm like. They didn't just magic themselves here at 40. They started off as children with shitty moms.
Those 13-year-olds can catch some lead too. Shouldn't be robbing anybody.
Yeah, that's
me. They don't want to start.
It sounds like an intergenerational protection racket.
I don't know what that means, but I co-sign.
Yeah, it does sound like it though. I mean, that's a good way to describe it.
Women really not having that many children like that, like they used to.
Some women.
Nah. Back in the day, like for instance, my stepfather's family, it's like 8 of them. Like all the families of the old people that are like in their 70s now, it's like 8, 9, 10, at the least 5 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but a lot of them had dudes in the house, though.
My
They had
mother had
Cosmo.
12 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah, but nowadays, a girl having
trillions of
3
lives.
kids, that's like a girl having 10 kids nowadays.
Yeah,
Like
they're not having
they
as
don't have
many.
they don't have many children like they used to back then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll out, but let me say this real quick. I'm gonna roll out. Those 5 cops, right? You smashing Mossy? I mean Brown Sugar?
Oh shit.
Oh my God, why you asking Mossy first?
Dog. Stray bullets, man. We just did a story about a stray bullet. You firing strays in here, man. Damn.
Nah, I ain't smashing them murderers.
Oh my God.
Hey, how do you
man.
say Freudian slip in Spanish, man?
Nah, he that wasn't no Freudian slip. He banging on Mossy, man. Let Mossy, man. You notice I don't mess with you about that no more, man. I'm trying to show leadership by letting them off the hook for that. Y'all keep throwing strays this way, man.
It's all good.
Spanish, that
Crime
would
in
be
Memphis
El
has-
Diso de Sneeko.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know how you get Mousy and
Crime in
Brown
Memphis
Sugar
has-
mixed up. It's 2 different names.
Yeah, nah, we
They
gonna
don't
let
kind of look the
Mossy
same,
live.
you know.
We gonna let Mossy live, man. Let's leave Mossy live.
Crime in Memphis has many people just fed up.
Certainly does, but one man is so tired of it, he's moving. WRG's April Thompson talked with the business owner who says for him, it is the only solution.
And growing up, my family visited down here, and I love Memphis.
Stephen Kahn remembers the things that brought him to Memphis back in 2001.
Memphis was laid back. I love music, and I'm single. I love going out, and Memphis just fit
Smash.
all that criteria.
It's why he started and grew his medical testing
He ain't
business
looking for
here
what you got.
the American way.
The climate was great
Man,
in
I
Memphis to
get in there
nurture
a heart
and
attack.
grow what we were doing.
But over the
Not unless
years,
you got
he
a
says
dick.
things changed.
I got robbed actually
He
behind
ain't
the
gay.
counter the first time.
Hold
Where there
on,
was
listen to this, man. Take it easy.
No, he ain't gay. His boyfriend's
the
gay.
climate was great in Memphis to nurture and grow what we were doing.
But over the years, he says things changed.
I got robbed actually behind the counter the first time, where there was a gun involved, and some kid with a hoodie and mask on. I could see down the barrel of this gun right in my face. I mean, he wasn't going to miss if he pulled the trigger.
That was 2007. In 2012, crime called again.
I stepped outside to get something out of my car, and there was a fellow right behind one of these columns just waiting for me. And he caught me from behind, and I could feel the gun. He had the gun in his belt, and I could feel the pistol.
And a year later, a similar assault.
And so that at that point, it was getting kind of numerous. And I had family and friends, mostly family, who said, "Dad, you need to get out of there. Get out of that location."
I mean,
I told my mama the same thing.
oh, your mom still in Memphis?
Yeah, I tell her every day, get out.
Oh wow.
I told her to sell the house and get the hell out.
Wow. She don't want to leave?
She thinking about it.
Okay. Yeah, man. This sounds like rough. This sounds rough, man. I mean, he could have had a heart attack. Like all these 3 incidents, he could have literally had a fucking heart attack.
Get out of that place.
But he stayed, putting up extra security. But the crime didn't stop.
Had 2 more this summer, and that was just the tipping point for me. The guy knocked me down out here in the parking lot, and just was wailing on me with his fists. And I was convinced that the next thing he was going to do was pull a gun or a knife.
So after 22 years,
Like, I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about? We're talking about some fucking goddamn skateboard, 30-year-old skateboarder that's fucking reckless driving and got pulled over and ran from the cops and then got in a fight with them. Is that what we're talking about with all this going on in this city?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man. That's why we suck.
Shit, man.
So after 22 years, he is leaving Memphis for Franklin, Tennessee.
I needed to do something that would get me out of the line of fire.
That's what I'm
so to
wealthy people
speak.
at.
He says he's seen too many cases of innocent people trying to help the city become victims, like former chamber lead Phil Trineri.
He was the guy who was given the task of promoting Memphis, and he got shot and killed one Friday night, walking home.
Those who are pushing Memphis.
I remember this story. No, I remember this story. I did this. This was like maybe 5 years ago or 4 years ago. Yeah, this guy, he's exactly what he just said. Yeah. Memphis, like he was Memphis' biggest cheerleader. Like that was his job to be a cheerleader for Memphis. And he's bringing all types of businesses and convincing other gliders to come build stuff in Memphis and to do stuff for Memphis's troubled youth and donate money to Memphis's troubled youth and to not be afraid to build in this city and da-da-da-da-da. And one night out to dinner with his wife, some sudden ran up on him, boom, blew his shit apart right downtown.
To help
And they killed somebody else around the same time. I think a U.S. Army sergeant.
Yeah, you remember this when this happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because recently, the girl that was with the guy that killed him, she just got charged with murder for a separate incident.
Oh, okay.
Last month, I think.
We're going to have to look at that. We'll have to look at it.
Innocent people trying to help the city become victims, like former chamber lead Phil Trineri.
He was the guy who was given the task of promoting Memphis, and he got shot and killed one Friday night, walking home.
Those who are pushing Memphis as a great place to live and visit don't want people to give up. On WREG's Live at 9, the president of the Convention and Visitors Bureau talked about the impact crime can have.
Eventually, people will make other choices. Fortunately, they haven't done so yet.
But Stephen Kahn has. He just hopes Memphis gets a handle.
It would be nice to think that Memphis could return to all the cultural advantages and aspects that I moved here for, frankly, the music, the food, the climate.
April Thompson, WREG News Channel.
He moved here for the music. What the fucking trap music? What the fuck? The fuck kind of music is he moved there for?
I love B.B. King, you know, it just makes me feel good inside.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I like
All they
B.B.
need
King.
is books. They just need books and a hug. That's it.
Oh shit. I
don't feel bad for these gliders, man.
They so stupid.
You know what though? I think it's up to some people that listen to this show and watch the show. Y'all just need to befriend a glider and like reach out to them and tell them they got it fucked up.
Adopt a glider.
Yeah, adopt a glider
Reach out
program.
slowly.
Trust me.
Reach, but slowly.
Let me
No sudden movements.
let me show you about this Trinity, this Trinity guy, man. This guy they just was talking
for a white Ford F-150 truck believed to be the getaway car for the man who killed a Greater Memphis chamber. 2 men are in jail after a car chase Friday morning. Good evening, I'm Mary Jo Ola. Shaimontre Reed and Quandarius Richardson were arrested.
Shaimontre and Quindarius.
What the hell is with these names?
Salute to Mayo Monkey, man. Mayo Monkey say the Stockholm Syndrome from the hood.
Their mom's naming them.
Jesus.
Yo, somebody I was watching some shit like in California, like 80% of the black names that one year was just made up. They were like the first time ever.
Yeah, man, this shit is bad, man. And these kids don't have a chance. I mean, they didn't have a chance. They were already behind the 8 ball, but just like God, give them a chance. Who like if he going for Airbnb? There's no way I'm seeing his name on the fucking thing and fucking written to his ass. Hell no.
I'm Mary Jo Ola. Shaimontre Reed and Quandarius Richardson were arrested. Both face multiple charges, including auto theft and evading arrest. Police were looking for a white Ford F-150 truck believed to be the getaway car for the man who killed a Greater Memphis Chamber president and CEO, Phil Trineri, Thursday. Cops tried to stop a stolen truck matching that description Friday, but the men led them on a chase. It ended in a crash with 2 other cars at Macklemore and Mississippi in South Memphis. Police have not said whether the men are tied to the shooting that killed Trineri, but mourners continue to wait for answers. Local 24's Annette Pegler is in Northeast Memphis with tonight's continuing coverage.
Mary Jo, as Memphis police continue to search for Phil Trineri's shooter, local organizations are still in shock by his death. The founders of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens say Trineri was a champion for Memphis and met them at the table to get things done. Kedron Franklin and Al Lewis, the founders of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens, are still trying to process the news that one of the men who supported their organization is gone. The group met Trineri during a protest against the Memphis Chamber in Memphis Tomorrow in 2016.
Phil came down and invited us to come up. I thought, man, what a heads-up move. Even though we were angry, I had to respect him. I didn't know him. I said, man, that's a real smart move.
That conversation fostered a relationship between them for years to come. The group's members say Trineri helped improve pay for temp workers and minority contracts for businesses in Memphis.
Phil actually put some pieces in place for that. There was something called the gold status that he started putting in place to make sure temp agencies was paying $12 an hour contractually.
The untimely news of Trineri's death affected the coalition tremendously.
It hurt. It hurt a lot. You know, it actually sunk in this morning, and I cried. I shed some tears about Phil because he didn't deserve that.
Lewis and Franklin say Trineri had a lot of responsibility in the strides Memphis has made. Although Trineri wasn't from the Bluff City, they say he gave back to it as if it was his hometown, and they are praying an arrest is made soon.
But he's a very powerful man, and he knew where power lied in Memphis. And so by him being, if he was indeed assassinated, I can see businesses not wanting to do business in Memphis.
I reached out to Memphis police to see if there are any updates.
The conspiracy theory, he was assassinated.
It is one of those things, though, Ak. It's like every time someone's doing something good, they just get fucking murdered.
I ain't gonna lie. When I first heard this, I thought somebody assassinated him too.
Yeah, of course.
Because of his position and who he was.
You try to make it deep. It ain't that
But
deep.
then when I realized what happened, I'm like, oh, it was just a bunch of hood boogers.
Yeah, it always is too. I mean, now don't get me wrong. People get assassinated. Maybe Jeffrey Epstein was assassinated. This shit is just street shit.
Well, today, a trial date set in the murder of Phil Trineri, the former president and chief executive officer of the Greater Memphis Chamber. Trineri was killed while running through downtown Memphis in 2018. Today, McKinney Wright and Quandarius Richardson.
Who the fuck is McKinney? Who the fuck is the other guy? Shimon Trade Day. Whatever the fuck his name is. They done replaced him with a fucking. They went full sun with this one. Shit.
Both accused in the murder appeared in court. They're expected back in court December 5th for the trial. Back in 2018, Richardson was arrested at the scene, while Wright and a 16-year-old female were arrested the following day. Witnesses told police the two were riding in a stolen truck in downtown Memphis in September of 2018. One man got out and snuck up behind Trineri, shooting him in the head. Police.
Well, I mean, Jesus Christ, he was jogging. What are they going to do?
But other than that, there was no issue.
Jesus, I mean, they just killed him. Like, okay, that was an assassination. I mean, but it wasn't for a reason. So we're both right. They did assassinate him, but they assassinated him for no reason, for fun. Not I'm gonna say no reason, for fun. Like, look, I bet you won't go shoot his ass. Man, I smoked that nigga. You scared? Scared? Give me the gun. Pull over. I mean, it's that quick and your life is gone.
Yeah.
Of 2018. One man got out and snuck up behind Trineri, shooting him in the head. Police charged Richardson, Wright, and Rakanisha Wright with first-degree murder.
Rakanisha?
Yeah, Rakanisha back in jail for murder.
Rakanisha. Go Rakanisha.
God.
Nice.
Ain't that what
Is this
Jada Pinkett
Memphis?
Smith got? Rakanisha on her head?
Oh,
Yeah, that's Memphis.
Nice Rakanisha.
Oh, I'm sure there's got to be some people named alopecia.
Oh my God. Jeez.
I know
You don't think so?
alopecia.
You know an
There you
alopecia?
Yeah. And she's beautiful. She's pretty. Just with an
Scary
ugly
as
name.
hell.
Gun Rakanisha. Nice Rakanisha.
Right.
And Rakanisha Wright with first-degree murder. At the
Rakanisha
time,
Ribs.
Rakanisha was 16, and her case was handled in juvenile courts. Investigators say the three were looking for someone to rob. Trenery was a leader in the community. In his time at the chamber, his colleagues say Trenery fought poverty and got a lot of backlash for it. People wanted him to solely focus on luring businesses to the city, but Trenery knew that prosperity and the city's people and business grow.
Heard that? They was like, focus on just getting businesses in. He wanted to fucking help these fucking wretched Sun people and shit. And look what he got him.
He didn't want to help the Sun people. He just knew that you get more businesses if the Suns wasn't robbing everybody that was down there. He had vision.
They will rob you with 2 jobs.
Yo, Rakanisha sound like a combo at a barbecue joint. Give me a Rakanisha and some hush puppies.
They'll get off their FedEx job and rob you.
Yep.
On payday.
It's a lower chance though. We gotta agree that the chances are lower. He knows what he's
No,
dealing
it's
with.
not. Like they will rob you on payday when they get off work. They don't care.
Yeah.
Look, maybe for the first 2 generations, but if we starve these motherfuckers like AP was talking about, it's gonna be a bloodbath.
They're not getting it anyway because they're able-bodied men. They're not qualifying for food stamps, all this stuff anyway.
No,
So they
man,
don't care.
it's a mindset that you got to get rid of. This wasn't always like this. Like people weren't always named Rakanisha. This is like 5th generation Team Mom, where they're just remixing. They went from like DeAndre to DeAndre Dre, not a Rakanisha. It's like 3rd generation of fucking 4th generation of welfare right here, man.
Yeah, this
There she go. This is the story right here.
The Rakanisha, my scary one out.
Shook the city. It was September 2018 when a well-known and well-respected business leader was murdered. Police say 2 young men and a 16-year-old girl were riding around downtown that night looking for someone to rob when they saw Greater Memphis Chamber CEO Phil Trenary walking home from an event. They ended up shooting him. All 3 were later arrested for first-degree murder. And according to court documents we uncovered, the teenage girl, Rakanisha Wright, identified the 2 men she was with and herself as the individuals responsible for the attempted robbery. 3 months later, she walked free. Juvenile court staff says they weren't at liberty to discuss what happened. They told us to contact family.
We're Channel 3.
So we did. We went to the address listed on court records. A woman answered the door and told us she's Wright's mother. She says after a closed-door meeting in December 2018, her daughter was allowed to go home, but had to wear an ankle monitor for 6 months. Since then, she told us Wright has been doing well until May of this year. Police linked Wright to this shooting in South Memphis.
Jesus Christ. She was doing good she did good. She couldn't do 6 months on an ankle monitor. Think about this. She was involved in the murder of one of the biggest businessmen in the city. Got told, you can go home. We'll keep these Sunmen, but you can go home. And there was no like, oh my God, whoo, thank God. I got a new lease on life.
Let me enroll in college and do better for myself.
I thought I was done. I thought my life was over. Now I'm free. It doesn't work. That's why I think the people didn't understand why I was riding with Brown Sugar in that video, man, because none of that stuff works, man. None of your little fucking bright ideas works.
Then why are you and the people that come on your panel different? Why do you see the world differently than these other people?
They don't. You try to talk to them as a glider, they don't hear the fuck you're saying. They're like, no, you don't get us. And I'm like, well, it's either that or exterminate everybody. Like there needs to be a fucking answer. Not like there's no answer.
No, I mean, you like you get it. You understand,
white, bro. I'm fucking white.
Right, wrong. Yeah, but I'm sure you see the same thing, though. Is what I'm saying. It's not. I wasn't talking about your race. I mean, just.
But I get to see both sides. I get to hear gliders whisper about Sunmen. Like all these woke gliders, I hear them whispering about Sunmen, and Sunmen don't give a fuck about being racist. So I get to hear everything about Sunmen too, because I grew up with them. I get to hear both sides.
Yeah, none of your bright ideas, none of the your little aha, none of whatever you aha, it ain't gonna work.
That's why you just got to cut cats off and then just deal with the bloodshed for like 10, 15 years and then have it tightened up. That way, at least you're not funding all this bullshit. At least you're not paying for it. That's the only, I can't think of nothing else. That's why I was saying hunger gliders.
You ain't that's what I'm saying. They're not getting nothing from the government. Those dudes that killed him, they ain't getting nothing from the government.
Who gave birth to those dudes?
Everybody, all women gave birth to
Somebody on
everybody in
the
this
government,
world.
Brown Sugar. Start somewhere. You looking at the dude. I'm looking at the lady that got knocked up with 3 different baby daddies in fucking family court getting taxing cats for dough.
Okay. I'm gonna do you like I did AP. Okay.
All right, man. No, your idea is really good. They just magic themselves here. You can't do shit about it, and that's that. Why don't we go masturbate then? Because there ain't shit else to do than give up.
Brown Sugar, he's talking about the root of the problem. It all had to start from some chick being irresponsible with a coochie, and then she produced one of these super gremlins.
We probably got her irresponsibly. I mean, who knows? But we didn't, out here robbing people. I mean, so what's y'all point?
If you pay people to be shitty people, you're gonna get shitty people. So every time someone lets a loser bust a nut in them,
But you
and
gotta understand, and this is a lot of kids. A lot of kids come from 2-parent homes. Their mama make a lot of money, and they still choose to go out and act like thugs too. So what about them people?
What are their fathers like?
In the PG County where my
But
parents.
that's because, like, look at the culture that's been accepted. That my homies, a few of my homies, they were doing better than me and did armed robberies because they was trying to like show out, and this is what was acceptable. This is what got you clout. This is what got you pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you got to change the whole deal. I hear you, but like, I don't know what else to say except for move to Alaska or some shit. But I heard it's rough up there too.
Yeah, I was gonna do a video on that, but I didn't get a chance to the other day. Yeah, I may do that.
All that ain't gonna work. Like I said, the only thing that's gonna work a little bit or maybe kind of is if you throw the book at them. If they know they're gonna get this amount of time for doing this type of crime and have a lot of cops around, frisk and all that stuff, it will slow down the crime.
I agree. Yo, look, I'm not AP, so I don't know what you was arguing about, but I agree with you all the way with that shit. But you got to do them both at the same time.
You're gonna need those 5 cops. You're gonna need a lot. You're gonna need a lot of cops like that to deal with the kind of violence that would erupt from cutting programs off.
Yeah,
and who are allowed to do it without fear of prosecution.
Yeah, and you have to encourage the public to actually shoot back these motherfuckers.
But like, look at the culture we're in. It's like we celebrate dudes that turn out fucking 14-year-olds and get paid off of them, and then we try to talk like them, dress like them. Like, that's not right.
You know, I like Project Pat, but if he kicked my door down, he's getting some hot lead. It's as simple as that. I know the difference between fantasy and reality. These guys don't. They want to turn that stuff into a reality
because they live amongst it.
Yeah, and I mean also the fantasy is built to cater to aspects of their nature that the people that are constructing the fantasy understand that they're hitting on those points that are deep seated and exacerbating it.
Yeah, I mean, if that's true, then that's wicked, man.
Told us she's Wright's mother. She says after a closed-door meeting in December 2018, her daughter was allowed to go home, but had to wear an ankle monitor for 6 months. Since then, she told us Wright has been doing well until May of this year. Police linked Wright to this shooting in South Memphis. Court documents state Wright got into a fight with a guy over money. It turned physical. The next day, she and her brother were seen walking down the street by this woman who didn't want to be identified.
He had on a white hood, a long sleeve hood in the middle of the summertime, 100-some degree heat, and he walked like he was coming towards her. And I asked him, what you finna do, try to rob her?
Moments later, investigators say Wright started vigorously flagging down the guy she got into a fight with the day before. He was driving his 2003 green Honda Accord on South Cooper Street. He slowed down, and Wright's brother pulled a handgun from his waistband and shot the guy in the back.
We thought he was shooting at us. We jumped down behind our truck because we had said something to him.
A few weeks later, Wright was taken into custody and charged with attempted first-degree murder. And Wright remains locked up. Her mother tells us she was 8 months pregnant at the time of the arrest and recently gave birth.
He gave birth in prison.
That's what we're talking about.
And then the glider's gonna have a sob story about this kid in fucking 20 years, like she ain't do nothing, and now he's amazing, and look at him. And that's how it keeps going.
The jury was all white. The cop that arrested her was racist. So they wouldn't kill somebody, but the cop who just happened to be the one who put the cuffs on her, he used the N-word in 1974. So
now she done for like she's not getting out.
Nah, but her son's gonna fucking suck. That's my point.
Maybe just pray for him.
Nah, prayers ain't done shit for Memphis.
Salute the.
They don't pray in Memphis. They just say they do.
Yeah, prayer works. They ain't doing it in Memphis.
Salute the Deluxe 407, aka Cal Ripken, aka the real MVP, coming through once again. Salute to Aster J. He says the return of Brown Mammy, starring Brown Sugar.
Fuck you. I'm tired of y'all this mammy shit.
Oh shit.
Say something to him.
A few weeks later, Wright was taken into custody and charged with attempted first-degree murder. And Wright remains locked up. Her mother tells us she was 8 months pregnant at the time of the arrest and recently gave birth while she was incarcerated. She also told us her brother, who is 15 years old, was also arrested just days after he was injured in a separate shooting. As for the Trineri case,
it's like a big bowl of sand, man.
Oh my God.
Bullet magnet for a family.
Now I will say if we hold the parents accountable for their children, the actions that they do for their children, they're like 17 under, I think that would work a lot better than taking away food stamps, welfare, and all the other crap. Because
What
like
about
I said,
everything? What about
because
everything?
like I
Brown
said,
Sugar?
what if the parents not receiving it? They just got some terrible, horrible children.
Well, then it won't matter. But for the fucking lames that
Exactly. So,
do,
but if
no,
we
but like,
hold them accountable for their children actions,
okay, but what
it
about
would start.
why you want to
resonating.
why you want to keep paying cats though? That's what I want to know. You act like just because some people that aren't on welfare do crime doesn't mean you shouldn't pump the brakes on that shit.
I don't like Cori Bush, but all our money together come in the country come together pay her salary. So what's the point?
I don't even know who Cori Bush is, man.
She's from Missouri, representative from Missouri.
Oh.
Yeah, another race baiter, troublemaker.
Exactly.
I think Brown Sugar. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your concern is you don't want kids starving or being unsupported from that kind of action. Is that correct?
You say what again? Repeat that. I'm sorry.
You don't want kids to starve. You don't want kids being cut off and being starved because they're not being fed through these programs. Is that correct?
Yeah, like if they're like me, I understand that we're gonna always have the poor, and so like if they're children and they need help, getting fed every day, I don't have no problem feeding the poor through taxpayer
I do.
funded dollars. Be careful because are you a grandfather? Do you have grandchildren?
I just got a kid.
Okay, be careful because you never know what situation your grandchildren could end up in. To say
Well,
that
then I would take care of my kids because that's my fucking family. I don't need the
things could
government to
happen.
step in.
Things
Then
could
that's my
happen.
bad luck, I guess. But like,
I agree with both. I say I think children. I think children ought to be protected, but adults.
Yeah, protect the children. That's what I'm saying. Don't
join
take
a fucking
from
church.
children.
Join a church. Have your community look out for you.
I agree with that too. That's actually I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah,
Razzle, I agree with I agree with
okay.
that before a government program. I think churches and communities and families are the best support system and the most accountable support system you can have compared to anything the government can create.
That's the thing, man. Like you fuck up, your homeboy loans you some money and he checks you like, yo, bro, you can't keep doing this type shit. The government don't do that. They just give you more money. Like here, man. Like, oh, you had a kid out of wedlock. Here, take some more money. They don't check you. There's no shame. There's nothing. The church will hold you accountable at least. Have you going to church pretending like you're praying.
The church not even preaching against premarital sex like they used to. I think if they start back preaching against it and drilling into the minds of the young people and getting them convicted about it, then yeah, it could work on down the road. But they're not doing that. And everybody not a Christian. Everybody don't go to church either.
Ultimately, you need men who are not afraid of pissing off black women. Ultimately, that's what you need, because a lot of these programs are bolstered by this thing that we have to protect black women, we have to care for black women is queen, and all that other BS. You need guys who say no. You need to put y'all in check. Y'all fucking up. You're fucking up the rest. You're fucking up things for everybody else. So no, we're not going to put up any more of your BS.
You know what? The man and a woman need to come together, get a job, and just take care of their child. But sometimes things happen. Sometimes a man run away. Sometimes a woman run away. And that person's left alone with their child. They can't do it on their own. So they will need government assistance. I'm not saying live on the government forever, but utilize until you at least get back on your feet.
The problem with government assistance is that it actually fuels this mess. It keeps it going because there's no accountability. And anything, they actually thrive off the chaos that's created from these programs, because then because all the crime that's created from it, they justify the money they spend or other nonsense to keep it going. That's why I say I'm against government programs taking care of these issues. It has to be done by families. It has to be done by community centers. It has to be done by churches.
Does it look like Rick Kanisha have a family? She don't got a family.
Yeah, so like her generation might just have to die, but the next one will be straight. Like, I don't like.
Yeah,
you act like we got a people shortage, man.
Her child needs to be raised in a loving environment that can teach him how to be a man and be responsible.
What guarantees that? Your ideas don't guarantee that shit.
I'm saying, I just said her child needs to be in that type of environment.
Let me let Fabian get in here.
Oh yeah,
he's Fabian. Jump in, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of aspects to this. My perspective on this stuff is kind of like, at the end of the encyclopedia after Z, there's like auxiliary shit. So I like the flow of your it's like footnotes. Like, I like the flow of the show. I like what comes out of the show. And the way my mind works about this stuff, there's a lot of extra other stuff that doesn't exactly fit into the flow. For example, you're talking about these, solutions or potential, things that can fix parts of these problems. But the trouble is, the essential element in all this is that there are fundamental differences on the whole, on average, between sun people and gliders. And there's a difference, there are differences in people's attitude toward resources and the availability of resources. If sun people as a general population are shown that they can just be given resources through the mechanisms of these glider mechanisms that they would have never come up with for a million years if they hadn't been displaced into a glider society.
You mean sold by sun people to a glider society? You mean sold by other sun people? Let's call what it is.
Yes.
If you want to start naming shit, name it.
Well, that's not. The only reason I don't elaborate on it because that's not the point. We all know how that worked.
No, we don't. Actually, nah, we don't.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. So let me just talk about what I'm actually talking about.
Okay,
by whatever means and whatever description, large population of sun people are displaced into an alien, different kind of society that's based on a different kind of psychology that deals with status and resources fundamentally differently. So if it's displayed to them, if that larger surrounding European context displays and demonstrates to them that they can have free access to the resources that matter in that society, which is different than the resources that matter to them. If you look at how sun people, spend their money, like the guy who won $30,000, $40,000 in the lottery and spent $30,000 of it on a necklace, which promptly got swiped.
Yeah, it's up in my city. They got a name for
exactly. So, but the point is, when the greater society demonstrates to the sun society that you can we're just going to give you free shit, that's going to change the attitude of sun people toward resources in that society, because they're not conscientious about participating. They're in an alien world, that the way that status works in that world isn't the way that it works to them. And so yeah, they're going to the way that people build these communities is just different. So that pipeline of free resources all the time is just going to be something that they're just going to expect. They're not going to be conscientious about appreciating it and honoring it and giving back and stuff. They're just going to expect it.
So it's no just being on welfare for a couple of years until you get on your feet.
Right. Well, the reason you would think that it's about being on welfare for a couple of years until you get on your feet is because you have a certain attitude about your position in the society, which is conscientious and honorable. And that's not what some people on average are doing. If you say that you can have resources, they'd be like, yeah, damn right. You know?
The only problem I got with that thought is like, these are, you know, like, can you tell me how people behaved before the government started giving people shit? If that's how cats behaved their whole fucking life, they didn't lock down
The
with their wife.
The government has been giving people since Reformation or whatever, since the Civil War, man, since emancipation.
Even before that, it wasn't called bread and circuses.
That was
no,
the
that's
Romans,
different.
yeah.
I mean, going way back. That's what I'm talking about. They gave stuff away, but it wasn't necessarily for their benefit. It was really just kind of keep things peaceful. I guess in no sense peaceful at the time.
All right, so so attack my idea. Let's say we stop. I'm like halfway on brown sugar. Like we lock cats up and we stop giving people free shit. Then what happens?
I'm telling you, being tougher on crime, tougher sentences, stiffer penalties, actually making them pay the fines, actually serving them warrants, like knocking at their door, looking for all that stuff, gang unit, drug units, frisking them, stopping them, pulling everybody over. You can just start with giving everybody a ticket every time they start speeding in the city of Memphis. I guarantee you, after a while, all this speeding in the city will stop.
All right, so brown
it's
sugar.
Not hard to get black people, well, people period in general, especially our people. It's not as hard as y'all think it is to get us
No.
under
Let me
control.
ask you this.
It's not hard at all.
But let me just. All right. So all these things to deter a certain behavior, there's a certain penalty that comes along, whether it's monetary or your freedom. Correct?
Yeah.
So to encourage a certain behavior, one would reason that by giving people money for that said behavior, you'll increase that behavior.
Double whammy. You're not punished according to, you're not regulated. Behavior isn't regulated, and you're also given free shit. And the media signals that anytime you're inconvenienced, just as a Sun person, anytime you're inconvenienced or stopped from doing absolutely anything you want, anytime, we're so sorry and it's a big problem and everybody needs to be mad about it. There's every ingredient in the situation lends toward the worst possible outcome.
Based on your logic, brown sugar, you should be agreeing with me.
Let me move along right quick. Leroy B says the panel are idiots. Brown sugar is correct. Okay.
I don't think anybody on here disagrees that it's obviously reasonable for the law to be applied properly.
That guy's right. You know what? I was on the fence about being wrong, but since that guy said that, I stand corrected, man. I'll write him a postcard.
Last job. Let me move along. Good shit.
Charged with attempted first-degree murder.
And Wright remains locked up. Her mother tells us she was 8 months pregnant at the time of the arrest and recently gave birth while she was incarcerated. She also told us her brother, who is 15 years old, was also arrested just days after he was injured in a separate shooting.
As for the Trineri case, the chamber told us today, out of respect for the family and the judicial process, it would be inappropriate for us to comment on the case at this time. The case is set to go to trial at the end of the year. Jessica Gartler, WREG, News Channel 3.
Damn.
And I'm trying to figure out, like, you have people complaining about the 5 cops that got arrested. It's like, oh, they got arrested so fast because they're black. I'm
The
like,
Memphis
come
woman is
on
behind.
now. Which one y'all want? Y'all want them arrested or you don't want them arrested?
Yeah, they want they
Yes.
want both. They want both.
Yes.
They want all of it. They want everything.
That's why
They
you can't.
want
That's why you can't appease them. They're never
yeah,
satisfied.
they
It's like, do you
want
want to lock them up or do you want to pay them? Which one is it?
they want
I
it
want to see the
all.
video. I already know Memphis finna cut up this weekend.
Me
Yep.
too.
Not over him. They just want
Memphis
to get some
police chief
Jordans and a TV.
Yep. It's gonna be no, it's gonna be hell. It's gonna be hell to pay for this.
Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis vows to conduct a review into all the department's specialized units after the tragic death of Tyree Nichols. WREG's Jordan.
They're gonna conduct a review of all the specialized, the gang unit, the vice squad, the goddamn SVU unit, the goddamn everybody, because this fucking half a crackhead got fucking killed running from the police.
I'm gonna say this though, Memphis police officers, they're kind of crappy.
That may be true. I mean
they're kind of crappy.
The people are crappy.
Yeah, so are Memphis criminals, no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but I'm saying they crappy to you for no reason.
Crappy in what way?
Okay, so we're
And it's
killers.
mostly like
we're
the
criminals.
black cops. They're kind of the black cops.
But look
They're
what
kind of
they're
crappy
dealing with.
people.
Look at what they're dealing with.
I
Like,
don't
they're dealing
care.
with
Get
people
my
that-
damn ticket. Don't yell at me. I didn't do none of you.
Well, if you're driving, well, all right, fine. Let me move on.
Memphis Police Chief C.J.
I'm
Davis vows to
saying.
conduct a review into all the department's specialized units after the tragic death of Tyree Nichols. WREG's Jordan James has more on the decision and why some say it's needed.
With 5 former Memphis police officers now charged in the death of Tyree Nichols, an internal investigation continues by MPD.
Words are only temporary salves that need to be followed by true, responsible action and change.
In light of Nichols' death, Chief C.J. Davis says MPD will conduct a review of all of its specialized units, including the Scorpion unit that the officers were a part of. It's a unit created under Davis with the intent to suppress crime in high crime areas.
It is my intent as a proactive measure to ensure that a complete and independent review is conducted.
Investigators say Nichols was pulled over for reckless driving, and at least 2 confrontations broke out between him and officers. By the time it was over, the 29-year-old father reportedly went into cardiac arrest and had excessive bleeding. He died.
Leroy B says the white trash guy talking is annoying.
I'm sorry, I stopped talking too. Look, man. Hey, fuck you. How's that? I don't even know what to tell you, bro. I don't even know what to tell you. Suck my dick.
That's all you can say when they talk.
No, I laid out a fucking PowerPoint presentation that you couldn't follow, dog. I don't know what to say no more. I'm quiet. Like, clearly reason doesn't hit a lot of cats. I even if you do this, then you get penalized. And so you're not going to do that. So what if you get things for doing something? And it fucking went over everyone's head. And I'm like, I just throw my hands up.
No, we get that.
Well, then, there's going to be some pain, dog. If you want shit to change, it's going to be pain.
I was just
Fuck the
saying
chat.
I was just saying the chat can be kind of ruthless at times. So.
No, the chat can suck my fucking dick.
Yeah, but they don't want to. Yeah, that's
6 inches of my pink sunshine dick. Suck it all, bro.
Oh my
Suck
god,
the sunset dick right here.
Cut that out.
Look,
Brown Sugar is appalled.
Edit that out for him, please.
For real. Hey, dog, nobody else will tell cats this shit, bro. Y'all over here bitter and shit, man.
Oh my god.
Nobody keeps it a buck with you. Call me rednecks all you want. I'll come by your house and kick you out of it.
Mayo Monkey says
you'll be bitter.
They want them to be white cops. Yeah, I mean they
of course.
Before the pictures came out, everyone was saying they just were saying that it was white cops until the pictures came out.
But I read a comment somebody left on one of the videos, and he was like, if the black people don't go so hard for Tyree Nichols because their own people did this, then no one will ever respect them.
That's not true. It'll be just another day. This country has.
But you think as much as black people talking about black this and black that, they should go super hard for Tyree Nichols because it was our own people in uniform that did this to this man. But I know they're not going to do it, but they should.
That's what the cops did. The cops
Yeah,
was
but
hard on him.
No, I'm talking
Right,
about,
but I
the
mean,
people that's upset about his death.
you talk about it like their reaction is logical, though, and it's
Right.
not.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. There's no logic behind any of this.
They're not reasoning about it. They're just looking for an opening.
They looking for a check. These people behind this white man is.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we're talking. That's
There
what
were
we're talking
unmarked cars. Why are they conducting traffic stops?
This week, the
They're
Scorpion
an unmarked car.
What?
Because they're a unit. They're the fucking unit that you
Yeah,
beg
that's
for.
what they do. What's wrong with this fool?
Y'all beg for this. Too much reckless driving.
He's gonna be the next. What's that guy that got killed? The one you just did a story on that. He's gonna be the next man with that mindset. Watch. I hope
All
not,
these people
God.
that
I'm
are
just saying.
all these people that are making these kinds of statements know perfectly well. Like he knows.
Yeah, he knows.
What the job of these people is to get up in public and inflame the people that are supposed to be indignant about it with talking points that they're not supposed to make sense. They're just supposed to reinforce that sense of righteous indignation that pushes the public support for the agenda.
Yeah. Leroy B comes back and says, "This idiot put in a negative 20-point presentation." All right, man.
Wow, man. All right, shit. I'll do better next time. I'll do better.
Traffic
While
stops.
you mutter on the
This week,
fucking
the
couch.
Scorpion unit was called into question by Nichols' family attorney, Antonio Romanucci.
This is a pretextual traffic stop, which let's call it what it is. It's a racist traffic stop is what it is.
What? Bingo! Oh my goodness!
Not everybody involved was Negroes.
Oh my goodness!
It was Negro people.
Doesn't matter.
And he was
Trigger word doesn't matter.
He was reckless driving. It wasn't like they pulled him over for a tail light out. They pulled him over for reckless driving for long. He'd been doing it for a long time before the task force got on his tail. And they say it's racist. This is exactly what you said, Fabian. He's just up there throwing gasoline on flames, man. Because he gets paid. He's paid. He's already got his check. He's already got his check, though. See, this is the thing about this guy. So if you know anything about a court, if you ever been in a car accident or you ever been in any kind of thing, this guy pro bono. These broke people got him pro bono. He's too big of a lawyer for them to get paid. So he gets 30% or 33% of whatever the settlement is. So he's already gotten paid for all intents and purposes. But he's trying to get 33% of however much of the pot. He gets 33% of it. So
another thing that he knows perfectly well is that if you skew public opinion strongly enough, it doesn't matter. You don't. The more you skew public opinion, the less you actually need a strong case.
Right. That's why I said this cannot be tried in Memphis. There's no way you can try this in Tennessee even. You got to try this in another state. Shelby County, he can't try it in Shelby County. You can't try it in the city of Memphis. You can't try it maybe not even in Mississippi, not even in Arkansas. You got to take this fucking to like Maine or some shit with all this shit they talking.
This Mississippi, they gonna get off.
MPD has not said how long their investigation into specialized units will take, but it's something Shelby County District Attorney Steve Morroy says he supports.
I think that's a good idea. I commend Chief Davis for doing that. I think Chief Davis is committed to, trying to do whatever she can to learn lessons from this incident.
Reporting in Memphis, Jordan James.
Look a little zesty right there, Tyree Nichols.
The greatest person to ever fucking walk the face of the earth.
Steve Mulroy about to stop what's that, cashless bails, whatever the crap is.
Oh, cash bail, they're gonna stop.
Yeah, that we're about to have I think next month.
Recognizance, you just get released on your own recognizance.
Yeah. And the mayor told him that if he do that, the city gonna get even more dangerous. But he was like, no, it's unfair to black people.
He's a Soros DA though. He was brought in there with an agenda. So no matter what it looks like, no matter what he's told, he has a directive that he's already been been
A former Shelby County commissioner and well-known civil rights attorney is commending Police Chief C.J. Davis after firing 5 Memphis police officers in the wake of Tyree Nichols' death. Walter Bailey tells our Shea author that Nichols' death sadly reminds him of another case he was involved in 52 years ago.
52 years. That's how far
Former
back they gotta
longtime
go.
Shelby County Commissioner Walter Bailey Jr. has been a big part of Memphis history. He's worked to fight injustice in the community and as an attorney has worked on several landmark civil rights cases. This week, he sent a letter to Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis, commending her response in firing 5 officers following the death of Tyree Nichols. Saying in part, I would be remiss if I did not openly extend my deepest thanks and appreciation for your exceptional professional administrative skill, wisdom, and courage. Going on to say, sadly, too often I have seen situations where decent police officers succumb to group dynamics that cause them to become cowardly, susceptible to the most heinous conduct that makes them think back 52 years ago, 1971, and the death of 17-year-old Elton Hayes. He had been severely beaten in a ditch by Shelby County Sheriff's deputies and Memphis police officers. What do you remember from that?
I remember how horrible, how horrendous it was, and how devastating it. What a blow!
Look at the word to you: horrible, horrendous, devastating. There literally was a barber, an upstanding citizen that got shot through a window while he's giving somebody a haircut yesterday. And they don't use those words about shit like that.
He don't even know about that dude.
He probably don't even care.
Well, look at his barber.
Right, exactly.
His lineup is fucking awful.
Now, black people, we look kind of bad when we get old sometimes.
My grandmother looks like fucking Paul McCartney. Don't feel bad.
The whole system of justice.
The incident was initially covered up. The public was told Hayes died from trauma in a car crash
52 years ago. And the police department at that time was not nearly as honest and up and forthright and responsive.
Rage and rioting erupted throughout the city. Eventually, with the help...
They were rioting in 1971 over the fucking kid, man. Ain't that crazy?
That's what they want. They want them to do this so bad.
For 1971, now this kid, whatever the fuck his name is, I can't even remember his name, whatever the fuck his name is, he's back in the fucking, remember him? And everybody like, yeah, I remember.
His soul was arrested for 52 years, and I done dug him back up.
Yeah.
Let him rest.
And forthright and responsive.
Rage and rioting erupted throughout the city. Eventually, with the help of Bailey, the officers were charged and tried, but were acquitted.
But nevertheless, at least they were tried. They had to account for their heinous behavior.
As for the death of Nichols,
it riles me up. It disturbs me immensely to see abuse of authority in that regard by police officers.
But says the officers' firing sends a message. Their behavior
these are the officers. Look, it was 3 black cops even in 1971. It was 3 of the cops was black.
Nothing changed.
Like Freddie Gray all
but
over
says
again.
the officers' firing
1, 2,
sends a message.
3,
Their behavior
4
is
or 5.
intolerable.
Wow. 3 out of 5 in 1971. And
they probably all 3 blacks too. The other 2 whites probably weren't even involved.
Think about it, how they tell us. Back in those days, you could only be a porter on the train. If you was a black man, all you could do was shine shoes.
That story you did about the white guy that shot the black kids on a train.
Oh yeah.
That story is so liberating because you saw nothing but black people and all these type of like different positions and roles, and it was a liberating story in a way.
They don't see that. They don't see that as good.
I never saw nothing like that before, and I enjoyed watching it. I was like, wow, look at us. We was train conductors, we was judges. What the hell is they talking about?
You liked the lie. The lie is that we had yes a ball. We was walking around and the white man been in the corner. Oh, everybody! Oh, yes a balls. How's the balls? I mean, come on.
You're so
man.
silly.
That's what they describe it. That's how they describe it.
They should show that video to all middle school kids. Just show them that video.
they're not gonna believe it. They literally make it seem like me and Marcy and Stunner and Osa and Black Gen Z be standing on the corner, and a white man come up and say, "Hey, boy, why don't y'all go in the house now? It's getting kind of late." And we all like, "Okay, sir. Yes, sir." That's the story
That's
they tell.
I wish that would work today. 'Cause
They-
they
Oh my
so
God.
bad nowadays. These son teens.
Well, they still talk about it. They talk about it in those terms now. They say similarly outrageous bullshit about how it is, like people are being hunted and they have to be meek and they have to be extra kind and scraping and deferential and stuff, and in flat contradiction to the obvious truth. No, but they say that some people need to be especially nice and quiet and don't get in the way and don't get it. Never. It said that's why you when you walk around any part of the US, you almost never see a Sun person in public, because they have to always be hiding, because they might just get shot. If the police sees you, you're done, you're dead. That you never see a Sun person like making any extra noise. You never hear a Sun person turning their car stereo up. You never see a Sun person talking loud, and but you never see it because it's a death sentence. They still talk about shit that way.
When the funny part is that
the gliders do that don't live around some people.
Oh, well, the gliders that don't live around some people eat it up.
It's the pasty liberals that
but it's actually the opposite though. The like me, when I'm out in public, the only people I see talking loud on their cell phones, telling all their business into the air, the only people I see include like Dominicans and
I was gonna say burrito.
Yeah, but not the Mexicans type, El Salvador. It's the Dominicans and the Puerto Rican type.
Yeah.
But the only people I see like just ostentatious and loud and peacocking all over the place, for the most part, if you're in a city that's got 10% or more, it's black people, and it's the exact opposite of what they're saying. But this is very,
that's what I'm saying. It's not only incorrect, it's the opposite, and yet they still say it. And yeah, gliders, especially gliders who don't live in the area, they just lap it up. They believe it.
Yeah.
It sends a message their behavior is intolerable and there are consequences and accountability, saying they should now face criminal charges.
Oh, absolutely. On the face of it, from what we've seen so far, police officers have to understand that they're not above the law, that they're not immunized from accountability when things get out of control and they misbehave.
Shay Arthur, WREG, News Channel 3.
Some good perspective there.
love
And
that
it
white
is
woman.
unclear.
That dude's
when
despicable, dog. He's
Yeah.
awful, man.
Yeah.
Fucking, I ain't heard shit. I see that
I
one
like
beige
Mr.
cat.
Walter. I met him before a long time ago.
I ain't heard him say shit from all of these other killings, man.
That man about 90
he's
years
on here with a
old.
perm. He's on here with a perm and shit, looking like old boy from Django and shit, trying to talk about this is despicable and atrocious.
And
Yeah, he had to go back 50 years to find some shit.
Yeah.
But it's funny he went that far back, and I was telling not too long ago that we had like four or five people get killed by the police in Memphis, and no one gave a flying flip until now.
Yeah, it's been a lot of.
Can't even tell why they do it, huh?
They even killed a white woman, shot her to death. No one cared.
Well, what people
she don't count.
What pasty liberals are going to take from that, though, the thing that you're supposed to take away from that is the idea that this goes on all the time, and it has been going on all the time since back whenever.
Yeah. Salute to Christy Webster, man, aka Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. She says you need to be a little more specific with who in the chat sucking, not all the chat now. Oh, I think she's talking to you, Razzle. I think that you kind of like you sprayed the whole chat instead of like being specific. I think that's what she said.
I wasn't talking about. Oh, I don't read the chat. I don't read the chat because no, fuck whoever was saying bad things about me, and whoever's not saying bad things about me, thank you very much. You guys are fucking awesome. Like, it's great. No, it's like, look, I try not to read the chat because I don't want my ideas to be I don't want to be catering to
They
somebody.
gonna get you in the comments when the video over. That's all.
I don't read comments neither, man. Like I don't want to let comments affect the way I fucking think. I just try to look at things the world I see it.
Super chat. So super chat or PayPal or Cash App is
Yeah.
he gotta hear
Yeah,
it.
then or just why don't you just hop on here and tell me I'm a piece of shit and tell me why my idea is fucking stupid.
Hey, Raz, the chat. If you actually read through some of the comments, the chat's actually pretty supportive and they're pretty funny. You every now and then you have someone who's talking shit, but the chat's cool.
No,
Shout out to the chat. Y'all okay.
I appreciate the chat, but I don't want to be arguing with everybody.
Yeah, let me move along.
I go to sleep
welcome
yelling
to
at
the
people.
Factor Uncensored. We've never strayed away from uncomfortable conversations. Tonight is no different. We're talking about how some black officers, law enforcement officers around the country may be and may have been tougher and uglier to people of their same race, other black people.
Yeah, because they know you motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's almost like they're familiar with your ass. So
they know how to handle you. they know just the right amount of medicine for some people.
You remind them of their cousin, and they've dealt with this shit before. Wow.
Well, they haven't. I think they're equipped with an instinctive understanding of how behavior regulation works differently, for different types of people.
Yeah,
yo, Fabian, I appreciate you here, bro.
Some people regulate. Some people need their behavior regulated by brute force rather than because they don't self-regulate with conscientiousness and shit.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's true because like if you look at son mom, like you see a son mom in public, and she's like talking to her kid, like the way they talk to their kid, get your ass over in there, stare at. I mean, and the kid is just like does it. They like it's like
and they hug their mama too. They love their mama.
Yeah, they love their mama.
They love the hell out of their mama.
She will read them the right act in public on the rep because it's like maybe that's the only thing he'll respond to. Go ahead. Let me move on. No, Brad.
Yeah, go ahead.
Case in point, Tyrone Nichols or Tyree Nichols. Nichols died days after taking.
I know, don't you know the damn
If he was a glider, he would be fired over that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
And
They would say he
uglier
racist.
to people of their same race, other black people. Case in point, Tyrone Nichols or Tyree Nichols. Nichols died days after taking a beating from 5 now former Memphis police officers, a place that lived a long time ago. Now, the officers stopped him for reckless driving nearly a month ago. Police have not publicly released a video showing what all happened. His family watched a copy on Monday and compared the footage to the 1991 beating of Rodney King. All 5
Who was
officers
also speeding, going 100 miles per hour through residential streets, high off PCP.
He choked his fiance out. Beat her ass.
Had just gotten home from jail after a robbery.
Fought the cops too.
He was just
and he dated a white woman.
I liked him on that one TV show. He seemed a real the fucking worst thing. He gut stomping an infant, but he dated a white woman. He ate her pussy too. You didn't even know that.
officers have been fired
Won't do it to
from the
sis.
force. We know this is not all black officers, but some. Some are unusually hard on other black people. All of my guests served in law enforcement positions. Joining me now here on The Factor Uncensored is Constable Herschel Smith, retired HPD Sergeants Kenneth Perkins and Todd White. So, Constable, let's start with you. You and I had this conversation just Tuesday, and you said this is something that you've always known. And in fact, you wanted your son, not just because of black officers, but officers in general, out of Waller County, where you are a constable.
Exactly.
You sent him to Florida.
Well, a lot of times, as African American, once we get stopped, a lot of people, they are nervous, they're afraid,
That's horse shit. That's horse shit. Most black people are nervous because they're dirty. They don't have their license straight. shit like that. But if
Got warrants out.
Yeah, they're on probation. Their license is
Got a
suspended. They're
gun.
drunk.
They a convicted felon.
They got an open bottle of Hennessy in the passenger seat.
Exactly. It's not
Got a girlfriend with a black eye. Sitting right next to
Got a
him.
body in the trunk.
I ain't 18 yet.
Oh my God.
Myself, I'm a police officer, and even when I get stopped, I'm traumatized sometimes when I get stopped.
Hell no.
Because I don't know who's gonna come to my car. And I've been in situations, things happen when I was in the
You were
military.
a constable elected in office, and you found yourself pulled over on the
Look at
beltway.
those high waters. He lying. He just doing this. He's suing his police department. I bet you he's got a lawsuit against his police department. Like,
Yo, they did him wrong.
Yo,
How come I can see his calves, dog?
Yeah, my man got on.
Is he ashy or them socks?
I don't know. I think I don't know what the fuck going on, but
I think that's skin.
Crazy.
Under arrest by another constable's
The
office.
other black man ain't blinking.
Tell us about that really quick. And what was that like for you?
It was very traumatizing, and you're very traumatizing. And when I got out of the car, before I got out of the car, I was afraid. I kept my hand on the steering wheel. I kept looking in the rearview mirrors. I saw guns at me, and I'm wondering what in the heck going on.
You're a constable in your unit.
In my unit, in my patrol, in my uniform, all of the above. But they did not have any respect for me as an African American. And once I told them I was elected official, they even ignored that. They ignored all of it.
And what was
I want to see
more
the body
hurtful to
cam.
you, the worst person on the scene was a black deputy.
Well, it was African American, and he the one. They just said they told him to put the cuffs on me. I said, "Why are you telling him to put the cuffs on me? Y'all put the cuffs on me." And he was like eager to do it, just eager to put the cuffs on me. And then once he put the cuffs on me, he attempted to put me in a car. I said, "You're not putting me in a car. I haven't done anything wrong. I refuse to get in the car with you."
So you resisted arrest.
Exactly. And he probably beat his wife's ass and left that whole part out.
Yo, and I'm also kind of curious how he told him. Was he like, "Don't you know who the fuck I am? I have your fucking job," or was like, "Excuse me,
I know.
I'm a constable here, sir."
I know, right? Was he
Who's
like,
your- I
"I'm
know
not
you're
getting in a car with you," or was he like, "I'm not getting in the motherfucking car with you, nigga"?
Most of this narrative is likely embellished at best.
Wow.
Wish he'd embellish them socks.
Wow.
His wife called the police on him. He leave that whole part out too. Cause why he just get pulled over, all of a sudden he getting arrested?
Man, this is crazy, man.
He
When
was
this
probably
happened,
being
in the
obstreperous
70s?
the whole time.
Was this recent?
I don't know. I think so. Yeah, this is
Okay.
this is from the other day. This story. I
When
don't
did he
know
get
when
pulled over though? Was it like,
Um,
did he have to go back to the 70s again, or is this fast
1975.
forward? I remember in 62, I was just a child. I was 3 years old. My mom got arrested.
All this happened. I guarantee you, all this happened in 1975.
The guy in the middle wearing
Because
complete
I've known
pants.
you for many years. When this subject comes up, is this a subject that's real? That some black law enforcement officers are tougher on blacks than they are any other race?
Well, let me say this, and I can be perfectly honest about the situation. I have never experienced this during my career where I've seen black officers being tougher on minorities. It's always been my position. The same treatment I treat every other person, regardless of their race or gender. I applied the law evenly across the board. And as a supervisor, I've always instilled that into the younger officers that was under me. All of my subordinates, I instilled that because I know perhaps I've seen these things happening with other races of officers where they inflict punishment on people of my ethnicity, and it just wasn't right. So I just went by the letter of the law.
Got it. So
You know they're like, "Get him the fuck off of here now."
I've never seen it personally.
Okay. Sergeant Todd.
I guarantee there's video of every one of them going upside a brother's head.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to when you police in these neighborhoods, man. It's rough, Jack.
Mayo, you're a fucking wild card. I didn't think he was gonna just co-sign police beatings, but you did.
Yeah, Yeah, you sound very far away now, Raza. Sound like you like in
That was
like
for Leroy's bitch ass.
But even in a prison, like you have to still like be a little like I said, you have to be a little tougher with the black inmate population than you do any other race. But you have to still be fair and firm and consistent with everybody. You just have to like, I don't know, you have to write their ass up. They just gotta, I don't know. It's hard to police our people. It's
They
hard.
push it further than most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's hard to police. It's hard to police some people, given the apparatus of policing that were not built to deal with the way that they behave and the way that they approach situations of, especially dealing with authority. Authority is not going to be respected by someone whose behavior can only be regulated by brute force when that authority is trained to basically signal submission all the time by asking if they're okay. Like I was watching a video, you see it all the time. It's like some dude will evade police. They're chasing him on the road. Dude gets out. Situation escalates. They finally get him, under control and in cuffs. Immediately, officer be like, "Are you okay? Do you need an ambulance?" Like that shit is like, I think that drives these people crazy. It's like, wait, they cannot respect authority who isn't just stomping the shit out of them. That we're built differently.
Also, the
Well, it's
ahead, bro.
always authority, no matter where they are. If it's in a library, it's the librarian. If they're in a club, it's the bouncer or the bartender. If it's in a classroom, it's the teacher. It's always
and it's the
authority.
Same, right. And it's the same with like my work with like very young children, like in a phase where they're just starting, their capacities for prosociality is just coming into view and needs to be, activated. If the person who's there, who they understand is administering their environment, shows any sign, any kind of boundary that you set up, if they see any little crack in your boundary, they're instinctively, they have to go for it and see how far they can push into it in order to understand the situation.
Yeah.
And some people who are built in such a way as to expect regulation to come in the form of immediate, violent, pain. If the authority that's dealing with them is showing any kind of let up in that regard, they have to push it and see how far they can go with it. It's just instinctive. And I mean, it's instinctive for everybody, but it's just some people do it differently than gliders. And these systems of authority were built by and for glider behavior. They were not built to police some people's instinctive behavior.
Here's the other problem, though. The other problem, and this is like kind of what Brown Sugar was touching on. I thought you were with the punishments and stuff. It's inconsistent. Like, you don't know what's going to happen if you get pulled over and you got a ticket or you was speeding. Like the way the cops behave is inconsistent. So you're gonna get inconsistency from the person that's violating shit.
Exactly. If they know you about to, if this some person know, damn, I'm speeding. I know I'm finna get a $200 ticket. If everybody in this city know they get caught speeding and they're gonna get a $200 ticket, I guarantee you they were gonna stop speeding. They're gonna stop. It's gonna curb a lot of things, but you gotta be consistent with it. You gotta be fair with it, and you gotta be firm with it.
Well, that's where the media comes in, because the media is constantly signaling to everybody that any police interaction with a Sun person is unfair to the Sun person, and the police need to, not do. And so this puts into your mind that there's that crack in the boundary that there's there to be pushed against. If they're getting pulled over, they're being given this constant artillery to throw at these authority figures like, I can't breathe, I didn't do anything, you're violating my rights. This is just ammunition that's being fed into that community through the media that's inflaming their tendency to push against authority, and it's putting authority on the back foot.
So I was around the Pacey liberals for about 15 years, and the problem is everyone's got a real myopic point of view. So was so like they're like, if I get pulled over, of course I'd behave nicely, and if like, and the only way I'd get an attitude is if something crazy happened. So they assert themselves into these positions, and that's where a lot of this fucking outrage comes from. They can't even wrap their head
I
around
got
shit.
pulled over. I got pulled over by a
project their
crooked
psychology
black
on
cop
people who don't
before.
share it.
And I got pulled over by a crooked black cop 4 years ago. And he pissed me off so bad. Like, he was just so low down for no reason. And when I went to court with my ticket, even the judge was like, when he seen the cop that signed my ticket, he was like, oh my gosh, this guy, he's such an asshole.
Let me just show you. Salute to Laura Bailey, man. Laura Bailey with the he says Razzle was dazzling 100%. Fabian 100%. Ock always truther. God love Marcy and brown sugar. Truths are hard to hear. Salute to you, Laura Bailey. I want to just show you how much black people lie and how wicked they are about
Her wig is terrible.
I still beat.
Good afternoon. I'm Kimberly Davis. In our last hour, we
Beat
told
that
you
wig
about
off
the
her head. Throw it in the
conversation.
garbage.
Exactly.
A conversation that is not foreign
Nasty.
to African American families. A conversation brought on by fear from our past, present, and what could happen. In this hour, we sit down with my colleagues and talk about their interactions with police officers that have had them fearing for their lives simply because of the color of their skin. We take you through those experiences and put you in their shoes so you can see how they felt.
I've never been more frightened in my life on that day. You're always worried because you know that your skin is a target.
What a great life when getting pulled over by a cop is the most frightening thing that's ever happened to you.
I finally get a chance to talk. Thank you. Like,
My
let me tell you about
husband
being
got
black in the
pulled over
car.
by a police officer last week, and I knew he was gonna get pulled over because I told him, I said, "Babe, we going 83 miles, and the speed limit was like 60." And I already knew, and then we got pulled over, and the cop, everything was straight. I was just like, hey, it is what it is. You were going 83, and he just took his L and kept on rolling.
Yeah, that's how it
And then
goes.
the cop pulled a white man over. And he was going he was going fast too. But I was like, well, see, he pulled a white man over. So, he ain't racist.
But you
Well,
do
that's
know
bullshit.
that,
He's not supposed to.
You do know that I've talked to cops. They can't tell the race of the driver when you come speeding by. They don't know whether there's tents or no tents. They can't tell the race of the person that's in the car when you're coming by that fast.
Yeah, I know he couldn't. We were driving so fast. I know he couldn't tell the race of us.
I don't know. I drive a Prius for a reason and not a Charger. I drive a Prius, dirty as fuck.
Okay.
I've never been more frightened in my life on that day. You're always worried because you know that your skin is a target.
They made us feel like criminals and we hadn't even done anything wrong.
Soft ass motherfuckers. Why? Why you had to be so soft?
I remember when,
balloon head ass.
man, I miss the brothers with bow ties selling me bean pies. Now look at them over here fucking crying and shit. I was frightened.
He
You're
wouldn't
always
touch me with
worried
10 feet
because
poles.
you
I'm black.
know that your skin is a target.
They made us feel like criminals and we hadn't even done anything wrong.
You know that eyes are going to be on you in a different way.
June 9th, I remember the date clearly, June 9th, 2020. I was coming from my father's home in Virginia to a small town in Virginia, very small town.
Until we know the price for black life is the same as the price for white life, we're going to keep coming back to these situations over and over again.
Listening to Reverend Al Sharpton and remembering what had happened when George Floyd was murdered, what had happened as a reaction from black and white all
He
across.
was driving down the street listening to Al Sharpton.
And that made him scared.
Reverend Al Sharpton and remembering what had happened when George Floyd was murdered, what had happened as a reaction from black and white all across the country. That was flowing through my body at the time. So I may have been going a little bit too fast through this little small town. I saw the
Oh my God, what a piece of shit.
That's what
What
I'm
a
saying.
fucking lying piece of
Speeding,
shit.
so just take that L.
We're a copper, please. All right. You know, I might have, could have. I had sneezed and rolled through a stop
Cause small,
sign.
you gotta understand, small towns, you'll be going 65 so like 30 miles per hour.
The white man made me speed because I was thinking of Al Sharpton and George Floyd. That's what he said.
Yep, that's what he said, and it's stupid.
This shit is crazy.
I would love to be there, and I would smack that bitch right there.
2020. I was coming from my father's home in Virginia to a small town in Virginia, very small town.
Until we know the price for black life is the same as the price for white life, we're going to keep coming back to these situations over and over again.
He gonna
Listening to
eulogize
Reverend Al
dude's
Sharpton
funeral.
and remembering what had happened when George Floyd was murdered, what had happened as a reaction from black and white all across the country. That was flowing through my body at the time. So I may have been going a little bit too fast through this little small town. I saw the red lights. And when I looked in that my side view mirror, I saw a white police officer, short, a little stocky, goatee, and everything went through my mind. I didn't know a thing about this officer coming up on me. He didn't know a thing about me. He sees a black man in an SUV in this small town. I had so many thoughts going in and out of my mind. Is this guy going to pull me out of the car without asking questions? Was he going to throw me up against the car?
Jesus.
When has that ever
He sound
happened?
like a female want a sexy cop to take advantage. Like
it's his birthday.
This is
this
this guy's.
Yeah, he's zesty.
This is his gay homosexual fantasy right
That's
here.
what it sound like. Some
Man,
fantasy,
said,
like
are you packing and grab my dick?
he's going to throw me across and bend me over.
They could have done a better job with the dramatization on this.
Looks like you need the Billy Club.
And I saw the cop. He was short and stocky, and he had a
Officer,
goatee.
Officer, I'm armed.
Both of us are packing, officer. Ooh.
Is he going to perform a search?
I may have hidden something in my rectum, sir.
Come on over here, Bob. We need to double frisk him.
Thoughts going in and out of my mind. Is this guy going to pull me out of the car without asking questions? Was he going to throw me up against the car? Was he going to put his knee on my neck? I had so many things going through my mind.
In my mouth?
He comes up to the car. I did what my dad said. Mind you, I'm terrified because of everything that's going on. I did what my dad said, had it ready. He comes up to me, and before he got a word out of his mouth, he saw my hands, handed it to him. Yes, officer. That's the first thing I said.
Just like George Floyd,
and then I
right?
started a conversation with him. I told him, I don't know what I did, officer. I was probably going too fast, but I'm listening to the funeral of George Floyd and Reverend Al Sharpton. I just put that out there. That might be the nature of my business. I start to talk.
This guy is so pussy. Like he's the most bitch ass dude I've ever seen.
Bullshit.
The
That's why I said I would have slapped this man if I was there.
The cops don't even stand around long enough for all that. Just like, can I get your license registration? You were going so and so. Then they go to their truck. They do what they got to do. They come back. What the hell is he talking about? Dude, lying.
Hey, but like, we're
He's just
criticizing.
lying, dude. The amount that this guy is talking around this shit is just like everything about this story just screams that it's just like complete bullshit from bottom to top.
When you give too many details about bullshit,
Yep.
They couldn't find one guy that worked there that got the shit beat out of him by the cops. They lead with this fucking dude with a gay fantasy and just like finessing his way out of it. And we've been dating ever since.
Talking about
And they never enter into the equation. Like the idea that people are supposed to have is this is exactly what happened to George Floyd. He got pulled over and he had to put his hands on the wheel and he handed over his license, and yet he still got yanked out of the car without being asked questions and killed with a knee on the neck. It's like it's just insane how it's so easy to find out the truth about this stuff, but people that are bought into this don't want to know. It would shake their faith, and their faith is precious to them because it keeps them in good standing with the dominant system.
Yeah.
That's why it's like these
talking. I want to get
these gliders that buy this shit. It's like they're not stupid. They're the opposite. This is a weird thing. It's like the way that intelligence, certain parts of intelligence manifest for gliders, is that it includes a high sensitivity to the general equilibrium or economy of status in the society and responsiveness to that. And so gliders that are a little more dull are actually much more capable a lot of times of just seeing through this shit because they're not hypersensitive. Yeah, they're exactly. Case in point. They're not hypersensitive to these little, the subtext of these little messages, the propaganda that are constantly filtering through the system because, and with this combined with this anxiety on the part of most gliders that's built in to be a good person, to be moral, to be correct, to be deferential and stuff. And it's like that combination, it hits smarter gliders worse than a lot of gliders that are just more simple-minded and just see through
Y'all
it.
should have cut up when them black folks killed that white man in Memphis. Y'all should have acted a damn fool. Y'all should have raised hell about them killing that white man in Memphis back in 2018. Like we act a fool when one of y'all killed one of our people.
I was gonna, but then I was like, I like my job.
Y'all need to cut up when our people do something to your people.
That white girl in
Sorry, man, I had to go to work.
Here's the thing, man. Like, as a glider, I feel like a lot of cats don't understand. The gliders in power have been privileged by the system, working within it. So they're rich. They believe in the system. They believe what they're told. So of course they're gonna believe the fucking media. I wasn't cut like that, so I don't believe the fucking media. I got to be around a bunch of different peoples. But these gliders that have opinions, they don't know any fucking Sun people. The only Sun people they know are pouring them drinks and mowing their lawn and fucking maybe sometimes watching their kid. But that's it, dog. And if they buck back, they lose status.
They just know us as workers. They don't know us as friends.
It's almost worse. They look at some people like lions in the zoo. I was with a rich one and we was driving through Compton, and there was a brother on the corner. She said, "Look at him, he's so majestic." And I looked at her like,
absolutely.
"Oh my god!" I looked at her like, "What the fuck? He will fuck you up."
Well, it's because they know instinctively that they're looking at something that is fundamentally unlike them, but they also know instinctively that they're required, in order to be able to think of themselves as good people, they're required to come up with some way to see them in a positive light and say good things about them. So yeah, these weird, awkward, compliments just, come out. It's very disconcerting.
Let me move on.
Told him,
Such a
I don't know
musical
what I did, officer. I was probably going too fast. But I'm listening to the funeral of George Floyd and Reverend Al Sharpton. I just put that out there. That might be the nature of my business. I start to talk, and I want to get his mind off of whatever might be on his mind that I don't know about. We ended up talking about family. Long story short, he gave me back my license and registration and just gave me...
And I gave him a blowjob.
We've been dating ever since.
Yep.
My wife calls him Uncle Dean.
I told you, white men and DL, black men. But anyway.
Have you ever heard of buck breaking? We buck break all the time.
This is crazy. Like, I've never had, now I have had one interaction with a squad. It was like a vice squad, right? Type thing. They pulled me over, speeding through the alley. And we had a conversation with the squad. It was an Asian cop, and blah, 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 blah. But this was while I was waiting for them to figure out what they were going to do with me. Other cops was back at the car, and the cops was just there waiting for me. I've never had a situation where I was just pulled over. I gave him my license, and I sat there and fucking chopped it up with the cop for fucking 30 minutes on the side of the road, just about his fucking life and shit.
Were you a rich black guy right after a fucking race riot? Because that might help. He was smart. Like, this is a cheat code. He was ready, and then he played the race card as well and was polite. And look what he got.
But this is the horror story this news is trying to portray.
This is he's describing what he thinks is a horror story when he's describing privilege. No one has this experience with cops. Like, hey, buddy, I gotta go. Because they're not even supposed to be on the side of the road because it's a very dangerous position.
Yeah.
They want to limit their time in that position on the side of the road because cars just whizzing by. So it's like you sat there and chopped it up with him. He fucking was probably like, he probably gave him like bunch of signals like, yeah, hey, you got anywhere to go. Hey, man, you're gonna be late.
Hey, bro, you gonna come soon or what?
The funeral almost over with. Don't you want to finish listening to
the
it?
funeral of George Floyd and Reverend Al Sharpton. I just put that out there. That might be the nature of my business. I start to talk, and I want to get his mind off of whatever might be on his mind that I don't know about. We ended up talking about family. Long story short, he gave me back my license and registration and just gave me a verbal warning. And I told him I was listening to Reverend Al Sharpton before we ended the conversation. He actually said, "Here you are, sir. He said, enjoy your preacher," in a Southern accent. "Enjoy your preacher and be careful." But something, when I heard that Southern accent, I don't know if I was racial profiling or not, but something about that Southern accent.
Yes, you were.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously.
I didn't know.
First of all,
This is so much bullshit.
He probably got pulled over by some 21-year-old white boy cop. Don't even know who the hell Al Sharpton is.
Yeah, it's just like he made this weird. I feel bad for that cop because that cop probably got back to the fucking station that night. It was like, yo, I met the strangest black guy in the fucking world.
Somebody said that accent turned him on.
Yeah, I think he was gay. That's what he said to his fucking
exactly.
squad mates.
Like, this is crazy.
We're going to see Hamilton next week.
If I was racial profiling or not, but something about that Southern accent coming from him, I didn't know if he was serious or not. I didn't know, but he let me go. I thought about that all the way home.
There was a wedding rehearsal for my brother's wedding, and we were in North Jersey, around Hoboken, and we were on our way, and we were at a stop sign. There were two trucks in front of us, and one of them was aggressively beeping his horn for the next truck to go. And there was a cop who aggressively approached our car, even though we were not doing any beeping, had us roll down the window and was beyond aggressive with us, and came right up to the window and leaned in and was shouting at us, and it was escalating. We didn't say anything. Sean, my brother, just said, "That wasn't me. I didn't beep." And just as things were escalating, what the cop didn't know is that my girlfriend was in the back seat, and she stuck her head out and she said, "They didn't do anything. What's your problem?"
She white.
Well, I know, right? She never got punched in the face.
And
that was his fault.
Yeah, this is.
So we were not doing any beeping, had us roll down the window and was beyond aggressive with us, and came right up to the window and leaned in and was shouting at us, and it was escalating. We didn't say anything.
It sounded like he was about to cry right there. His voice cracked when he said
And then the girlfriend sound tougher than him.
I hope he makes
He's
it
just
through it.
lying.
The girlfriend go harder than him.
I want to do a poll.
And no, but who doesn't know the difference between a truck horn and a personally owned vehicle horn?
That's what I'm saying. And he probably yelling because the trucker probably still honking the damn horn.
That cop knows a black horn when he hears it, man. He knows that shit.
But trucks are
sounds like
loud.
Louis Armstrong. Hold on a second.
Trucks are loud. He said he had a truck. Yes, he said it was two trucks, right? That they can be kind of loud. So I'm sure the cop was probably yelling, not to be like on some low down stuff, but maybe for them to hear him.
this is
I don't
just
know.
crazy.
He
Wow,
got some pretty skin though.
this is
He do.
crazy. Yeah, he
I
definitely.
bet you his girlfriend really got loved
Leaned in
pegging him that night.
Yeah,
Oh
like this is
gosh.
crazy.
and came right up to the window and leaned in and was shouting at us, and it was escalating. We didn't say anything. Sean, my brother, just said, "That wasn't me. I didn't beat." And just as things were escalating, what the cop didn't know is that my girlfriend was in the back seat, and she stuck her head out and she said, "They didn't do anything. What's your problem?" Well, my girlfriend was white, and you know, it just alarmed this officer to the point there was a complete switch in his attitude and the way that he addressed us, and he just calmly fell back. We proceeded to drive on. But
So the white woman saved him, and if it was a black woman, he would fucking
The
shot her.
Yeah, the cop was like, I don't know, you're fucking one of my own, so you got to pass. Thank you. Keep making beige babies, you. You go on. Shine on, you crazy diamond.
He said, "I don't want to deal with that BS. Let me just keep it rolling."
Well, and this racist cop de-escalated as soon as he saw
a crazy white in the background.
The thing that he would hate the most.
Seeing a white woman with a black guy.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, he didn't gut stomp them for that. Just on GP, he was like, you know what? You get a pass.
How
What's the
often?
nut in there for me, bro?
Welcome to the family, brother.
You gotta pick your battles.
How often have you seen some people make some complaint, go public, tearfully about some situation that happened to them, either with some glider or with a police officer, and it later comes out that their whole narrative is either highly exaggerated or just complete bullshit? It always sounds like exactly this.
Yeah, this is exceptionally weird though. These two guys are fucking really.
I would have asked him why your girlfriend isn't black. If he's so afraid of these people.
Well, he wants to be happy. That's right.
He's afraid. He's afraid of glider, but he's not that scared.
Yeah, like goddamn, he don't want to fucking he don't want to do kung fu as soon as he hits the doorstep. But this is product of Cook County says, Fabian, I don't think it's an IQ thing with dull gliders versus smarter ones. I think the practical that don't have guilt for things they didn't do aren't falling for this. Okay. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Look, having guilt for things you didn't do requires bandwidth in your brain. People that can hold that cognitive dissonance because they're sensitive to what's happening in the status economy, and they're aspirational. They want to think of themselves as good people. It's not about necessarily IQ. There's all kinds of factors that go into people's, psychology, and that just happens to be one of them. And this is just my tiny sample size of noticing, like, speaking to people that are a little bit, slower of wit, which is not a put down because they're not unpleasant people. It's much easier for them to just step over that crap. Everybody I know who is like all the way on board, doing everything they can to display openly how deferential they are to Sun people and how sad they are about the horrible shit that happens. They're smart people and they can know the reality. They don't want to know the reality. If it's put right in front of them, they'll just gloss over it because they're doing this weird contorted dance of conforming to the narrative that they feel that they need to conform to in order to think of themselves as good people so that they can just, live without going crazy. That requires bandwidth in your brain. It requires space in your brain to hold that shit. People who have less space in their brain, they just step over it. This is just what I've noticed.
Can I quickly address this? As a retarded glider, I all the way co-sign, but I think you're conflating intelligence with education. And most of these people that have gone through the educational system have been indoctrinated to hate themselves. While there's still a lot of fucking high IQ fucking broke motherfuckers out there that didn't have to go through that shit, so they haven't been brainwashed.
Nurture plays a big factor in it too. I mean, it's all together, because the people that are picking up those signals and carrying them forth and repeating them, part of their participation in the society is getting that in education and getting those credentials and those are all signals as well.
Let me move on.
It's settled. Yo,
and she stuck her head out.
Go ahead.
All these cats right here, all these some people are the same ones I'd be at rich parties and they'd lecture me about fucking police and tell me these fucking weak ass stories, and I'd just be like, oh, ugh. Like, you don't know what it's like.
And
I almost
it was
got pulled
escalating.
over.
We didn't say anything. Sean, my brother, just said that wasn't me.
And he'll cheat on his white girlfriend with me.
Things were escalating.
Cause I make him.
What the cop didn't know is that my girlfriend was in the back seat.
Yeah, you're right, brown sugar.
And she stuck her head out and she
No,
said,
I'm not.
They didn't do anything. What's your problem? Well, my girlfriend was white. And, it just alarmed this officer to the point there was a complete switch in his attitude and the way that he addressed us. And he just calmly fell back. We proceeded to drive on. But the three of us, we all felt that was going to go another way had that not happened. I'll never forget that moment in my life.
Because you got punked by your bitch.
He'll never forget that moment. It's like, man, listen, man. I've had like not to brag, or because I know some people, this stuff is like bragging. They brag about this shit, but that wouldn't even make my top 100.
So these are the people representing black people right here. These are the people representing black people. People that their craziest story is that their white girlfriend had to ride for them. Like, this is who he knows what it's like. He knows the experience.
Hey,
the so-called.
We didn't. That wasn't us. It wasn't like she fought the cop or nothing, like a sister.
She probably was like, "Hi, yeah, that wasn't us. That was someone else." Yeah. Yeah, why was she in the back seat?
What are you, Arab?
To drive Miss Daisy
rolling out some Muslims in this bitch? Like, nah, bro. And like, you know what kills me? He probably didn't even check her ass for yelling. Like, shut the fuck up when I'm driving, man.
No.
He was like, "Hey, honey, thanks for getting me out of trouble." He don't check his.
I think it was a skinny little white gal that did that because they're the ones that seem to be the most wiry. One want to lash out and getting the cops the cop's face, or to start some stuff started.
I'll let any chick will talk shit, bro.
Yeah, Genetic Freak says, "Salute Op, looks like the down low older son man with the fake cop story is Denzel's cousin." According to he is Yuki Washington. That's Denzel Washington's cousin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because we both feel.
You know, Denzel don't believe that story.
Going in a way that.
Yeah, the first one. This guy right here. This is Denzel Washington's cousin.
Yeah, and Denzel don't believe his story either.
You gotta see some similarities. Some. Yeah.
Neither one of us will, because we both feel in our hearts that was going in a way that was not going to be good for us.
All in them feelings.
He feels that situation, Jesus Christ,
was going to go another way had that not happened. I'll never forget that moment in my life.
This is their news story.
Neither one of us will.
and both of them have ended with no tickets.
That was going in a way that was not going to be good for us. Anyway.
Right. Neither one of them got out of the car. Neither one of them even got out of the vehicle. Neither one of them got tickets. Neither one of them got out of the car. One got a hand job. The other one got a fucking.
The other one got punked out by his white girlfriend.
They since broke up, but she's telling that story every Thanksgiving, and I'm sure she's in Memphis
probably
right now.
Happened in 1999. This whole incident.
That was Tyree's girlfriend. Now
Well, I remember being in college. I was 18, and
Mossy
What the
stunt.
hell is that?
You got me fucked up.
Indian
Mossy
and
stunt
Mossy.
double.
Hey,
Mossy
you look
stunt
like
double.
you
Mossy
look like
from
Mossy with
India.
AIDS.
I remember being in college. I was
MC Mossy.
18, and I was with one of my best friends, and so his parents had just bought him a new car, probably 3 or 4 miles from my house. Los Angeles Police Department pulls us over, and as soon as they pulled
I
us
can
over, it was
smell
like,
the money
they
off
pull
of
us
him.
over, and we look, and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're just taking a drive." "Are you involved in gangs? Do you have any drugs in your car? Any weapons?" "No, sir." And
This is a
respectful.
lie. No one would ever think this guy was in the game. No one, no cop from Los Angeles County would ever
Unless
think.
he's talking about something that happened when he was like 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah, that's what
One
they're
of the
talking
most
about.
active gang places. They pulled him over. Like, hello, officer. All right, man. What set you with, bro? Like, fucking checking his nutsack.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
18, and I was with one of my best friends, and so his parents had just bought him a new car, probably 3 or 4 miles from my house. Los Angeles Police Department pulls us over, and as soon as they pulled us over, it was like, they pull us over, and we look, and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're just taking a drive." "Are you involved in gangs? Do you have any drugs in your car? Any weapons?" "No, sir." And respectful, they immediately said, "Get out of the car." We got out of the car. They sat us on the curb, and they made us put our hands like this so our hands are visible, and they started searching through the car. Needless to say, people were driving by, honking their horns, laughing, and pointing at us.
Black
and they made
people.
us
Black
feel like
people,
criminals,
right?
and we hadn't even done anything wrong.
In Maryland,
He did it.
at a traffic light, light turns green, pull off. I get pulled over before I get to the next light. I go through my procedure. Cop comes up, license and registration, here you go, and proceeds to tell me that it looked like I was enjoying my music too much. Why am I being pulled over? Because I'm enjoying my music too much.
Cause it was loud, nigga.
Because other people weren't.
My husband got pulled off for loud music. It was loud. They said they got a noise ordinance.
Say
And
music again.
he was breaking it. Point blank. He cut it down and life goes on. He took that L.
Brown
Man,
sugar, say
these
music again.
Huh?
Say music again.
Music.
Thank you.
Y'all crazy. Don't he look like a broke flow rider?
He looks like one of them dudes from Arrested Development or some shit like that. This is the group.
He looks like
Yeah.
he plays bass guitar in a fucking cruise ship or something.
This guy looks fucking weirdo, man.
Why am I being pulled over? Because I'm enjoying my music too much? Or is it just because I'm me, young black man in a BMW?
I was in an R&B group and we got an advance, and so I used that money to go buy. It was a BMW in 1991.
Told you old
318
ass stories.
Fabian spoke on.
They're beating us up with these black guy of nice cars tropes. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in a nice car, so like it's kind of like, well, every time a black person's in a nice car, the police can't believe it, so they got to pull you over to make sure everything's okay. That's just kind of like what, and this makes me think they're lying, because that was the old thing black people used to say all the time. Black man in a nice car, police won't pull you over.
I was in an
All
R&B group
all
and
this
we
is
got an
about
advance, and
reinforcing
so I
these tropes.
Yeah.
used that money to go buy. It was a BMW in 1991, 318 IS. I go to the house and I enter in and I tell my mom, "Hey, come out, let's look at my new car I just got." Before we can get to the door, I'm getting a knock on my door to walk outside. And we open the door and there's the police there. And I'm like, "Okay, how can we help you?" And he's like, "Are you the owner of that BMW?" And I said, "Yeah, I just got that." "Well, we were told that you were driving erratic." And I said,
He was.
"That can't be true. I only live 2 miles." Seeing a young.
Why would a cop knock on your fucking door? Yo, if this is true, right? This is so absurd. This is so out of the purview of normal cop behavior. Like, they knocked on your door and asked you, were you the owner? That's almost like
he
you were.
did it.
No, but that's almost like he was. They were dry. They were behind him. He lost them. hopped out of the car, ran in the house.
Exactly.
Sound like. That's how it sounds like that.
Young teenager with his hat on backwards, driving a brand new BMW.
Acting
I guess
damn
wrong
fool.
suspect. Why is he going in this neighborhood with this car?
I remember
Nah.
driving back to campus. Fire truck drives by, so I stopped. There was a police car behind him, and I thought it was with the fire truck. The cop car didn't have the sirens on, and I made eye contact with the officer. It was just a very uneasy look, and all my friends are also black, and they're like, "Hey, let's take these next couple turns slow back to campus." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm right there with you." I pulled out my wallet, put my registration on in the visor, and as it's turning green, I just make one more look in the mirror, and I see the cop making a U-turn 2 minutes away from campus by this point, and he turns on the lights. So he was tailing us for a solid 15 minutes. He notified the school that I made a turn without putting my signal on. He kind of pulled us over for no reason, he really didn't have a reason to pull us over. I was just ashamed that we had to go through that, it just felt like
what a rough life these guys
Man,
I
don't
was
roll
in-
horrible.
Years ago, I was in Mississippi, and my boyfriend. Before I got married, my boyfriend was. I had picking him up from work, and he was driving, and we was followed by a white cop. At the time, I was like, "Oh, he racing and profiling." But now in my 30s, when I look back on it, my boyfriend did like a suspect. He had long dreads, and he was playing. He was smoking I was like,
He's
yeah.
doing donuts in the intersection and
Nah,
shit. You're
nah,
like, why would
hell
you
nah,
fuck
not with
with
me in the car. I'm real scaredy cat. But I was like, well, he had a right to pull us over because he did fit the description of someone that could have done something. Black dreads, rough looking,
Yeah.
So
I mean, we wouldn't even. I wouldn't even. I was into my 30s before I even felt comfortable rolling more than rolling 4 deep in a fucking car with dudes. I just didn't do that. You get flicked. That was just in my brain. I don't know why they're so amazed that cops are checking for things.
Yeah, but these situations are straight. These are the weakest situations.
there was this thing hovering over our shoulders.
Not all cops are bad apples, but there are some that are bad apples out there. And for those who say that there aren't, they just haven't been in my skin.
Yeah, your horror story. Yeah, God,
I got a BMW and they knocked on my door.
That's another trope, though. Nobody says that. Nobody says that there's no such thing as bad apple cops. But people who are invested in this doctrine are supposed to believe that there are this whole faction of people who believes that every cop is always right in everything they do. No, there's no such people. Nobody believes that. Nobody says that.
Yeah, this is just insane, man. I mean, these guys, they're let me just see how to end this out, man.
They haven't been in my shoes, but really my skin. To
I forgot.
that.
I did a video on
It's
this. I
real.
forgot.
you don't even want to be in your skin.
Is there anywhere I can send money to or
This
some
is
shit?
not a story about bashing the police. The police are extremely
No, they sounded cool as hell to me.
She said this is not a story about bashing the police. Oh my God.
To be clear, this is not a story about bashing the police. The police are extremely important with a difficult job to do. We actually sat down with Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw, who happens to have 2 black sons. She talked with us about the ongoing conversation she has in her household. But coming up in our next hour, we continue to speak with my colleagues who tell us what they think needs to change in order for us to stop having this conversation. Yuki.
Kimberly, thank you. Don Bell joins me now. Don, your story with our colleagues, very powerful on this day as we were.
Very powerful.
Hey, yo, sidebar shit. How many times you think that lady told somebody she had 2 black sons?
Yikes, that is crazy.
She must be biracial.
Yeah, that white lady was like, yeah.
White, I don't know, a white woman tell me they got 2 black sons.
Police chief from Philly's a sister, man. She just
Yeah, this is Danielle Outlaw.
Yeah, she's a sister. She got two, but it's just like they just throwing that in there just to.
Okay, so she's black and she's telling everyone she has 2 black sons.
She might not have said that. She might not have said that. The woman might have just threw that in there. Like,
I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's
duh.
weird.
They supposed to come out black. They ain't gonna come out
George
Chinese.
Floyd and policing and racism in America. Why was it important to you to join this conversation to tell your truth?
Yeah, Yuki, I don't think it certainly wasn't easy to flash back to that story and tell it.
Back to that story. Oh my God!
Now, did he just say it wasn't easy to flash back to that story and embellish?
Oh my God, dude!
Jesus.
I don't know, man.
These are the softest. Let me look at this pause, and to see who they think.
I think I know who the cop was that pulled the other dude over. I think they pulled each other over.
They think black news anchor number 1 is the softest. I don't know. I think news anchor number 2 is the softest, man.
I agree. I think number 1's a power bottom. Like he gets it in the ass, but he tells him what to do. And this guy, he's just like, I don't even think he's gay. I think he just gets bossed around by his broad. Like, yeah, the
I
one
never
over there is
heard
like, come on,
anything like
is that all
that
the dick you
before.
got, bro? Come on, give it to me.
They're both bitches, but different kinds of bitches.
You call that a beating? Give me that dick, bro.
Life of George Floyd and policing and racism in America. Why was it important to you to join this conversation to tell your truth?
Yeah, Yuki, I don't think it certainly wasn't easy to flash back to that story and tell it. You feel in some ways ashamed that happened to you, so it's hard to discuss. But I think that when you have an opportunity to put it out in this forum, it's important. It's important for people to experience what you experienced and really just kind of, Yuki, I'm going to say this.
Yo, he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. He's just talking.
Everybody who was in that piece, I know each and every one of you. Every one of them.
Stand still, bro.
It's not like we have a black man convention in the cafeteria here at CBS 3 and talk about these things. So
Bullshit.
I had never heard any of these stories before, but to sit here and watch it in edited form, stories back to back to back, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I feel something right now. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's difficult.
Called homosexuality.
They do very balanced.
Okay, wait a minute. So they know each other, and each one of these events was supposed to be like the worst thing in their entire life, but he never heard of it.
That's never happened in life.
Okay.
Here's the problem too. Like as a glider, like the Sunmen made it, bro. Y'all made it. Like this is the best you could get. A bunch of rich motherfuckers talking about like maybe got touched in his dick, and this guy, he doesn't even realize the worst thing about him was his girls took his nuts. A white girl fucking emasculated him.
Exactly.
Like I don't know what else to do. Like figure it out. Y'all made it. Look at this fucking half a fag over here talking about, oh, I can't believe it.
My whole heart.
Yeah, this is just.
He's sharp though.
He's holding his heart. You weren't lying.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I feel something right now. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's difficult for me to explain it and pinpoint it, but I'm a little shaken right
called
now.
narcissism.
And
that's your
hearing
liver.
from my colleagues and people I know, hearing that everybody had to go through that in some way, shape, or form.
And I'm going to follow
They
up
look
with
like
by
some
saying
aunties.
it's a powerful thing and even more powerful, as you say, when it hits home. And I'm going to call them out in a good way. Our floor director, Phil, who's a grown white male, and Jessica were in tears. It hit home in our first hour.
Pasty libs. They're my enemy, dog. Those pasty libs are my enemy.
Oh my!
Those tears are gold.
Jesus.
Those tears are gold for those people. It's like, oh, good. Look, they can see how obedient I am to this doctrine.
Oh
to
yeah,
this system.
that's like winning a fucking Oscar or a Pulitzer for these guys.
Yeah,
they got white tears.
What they crying for though? We was laughing at them. We black. Well, some of us is.
Yeah.
It's like everybody riding by in LA that was laughing at those two guys.
Yeah. Our floor director, Phil, who's a grown white male, and Jessica were in tears. It hit home in our first hour. and probably then as well. They felt it. And when it comes to race relations, this could spur a powerful talk they could have with their young sons. A conversation, education, awareness.
Stay away from them.
Thank you.
That's the conversation. Stay far away from them.
Maybe their son can come stay the night at my house for a weekend, and I'll teach them things. Just show them what it's like to be a black man.
I would love to put I would love to put the black experience into your white teenage son.
Ugh.
Hey Jim, do you like popsicles? Come on over here.
Oh my god.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Oh my gosh. Oh, you saying he's a pedo? Oh my goodness.
Billy, you like movies about gladiators?
You ever been to a Turkish prison?
I have a question. When they release the video, are you gonna play the video on Rumble?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it on Rumble. Like if I may start here, but we're gonna have to watch that on Rumble. Now everybody else, you can go to any other YouTubers, conservative YouTubers, and watch it on their channel. But if I play it, I get a fucking straight. So I definitely got to play that on Rumble.
Preparations are being made ahead of any protests that are going to be taking place.
Damn, they brought the horses out there
after the violent encounter with Memphis police. WRG's Jordan James shows us what's being done.
24 hours before the footage of Tyree Nichols' arrest is expected to be released, the city of Memphis is on edge.
I'm scared.
Me too.
I'm scared.
While some are in fear, others have been waiting in anticipation.
Memphis, stand up. This your home city.
Uh-oh, sheesh.
We finna get a TV Super Bowl coming on.
She gonna get some
I thought Manny Fresh was from New Orleans, man.
Flat screens matter. This your home city. Y'all stand up for everybody else. It's time to stand up for your own.
The 29-year-old father was allegedly beaten by Memphis police officers during a traffic stop earlier this month, ultimately dying 3 days after that encounter.
This incident was heinous,
methamphetamine,
reckless, and inhumane.
Ahead of the release, Chief C.J. Davis addressed the death of Nichols.
He had Crohn's disease. That's why he was so skinny. He was 6'3", 145
pounds. So he was sick.
He had Crohn's.
Had a meth problem.
They say he had Crohn's disease.
In a pre-recorded
video.
video.
I hope he
This
didn't.
is not just a professional failing. This is a failing of basic humanity toward another individual.
Given the graphic nature of the arrest, protests are anticipated, as you can see behind me, right here across the street from 201 Poplar, where a small group of protesters have started to gather. And I can tell you that Memphis
These 3 dudes.
They need to go to work. Bum ass.
They just waiting to get some shit, bro.
Man, they finna hit up Nike on Elvis Presley. They finna go to all the city gears. They finna get ready and hit up all the GameStops. It's going down. I wish I was in Memphis.
Why, Brown Sugar? Why you want to be in that mess?
I'll get my mama a TV.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just joking. I'm not trifling.
Oh, you ain't. You from Memphis. It's in your blood.
Nah, I wouldn't dare do that, y'all. You know how dangerous it is?
It's in your blood, man.
It's Cleopas out there.
Yeah, definitely.
There's some Cleopas that's gonna come out there and get the raping that night too.
Oh, did you say they brought out the horses?
Yeah, I haven't seen the horses since the Klan came down there when I was a little kid.
Oh my God! You mean, and now I'm surprised nobody's yelling about slave catchers and shit.
Oh, they will. They're trying to low-key trigger cats, man. That's their one thing they're gonna do.
Wow, this is literally, these people are bizarre, man.
And they're waiting for the weekend to release it so they can get the biggest fucking bang for the buck.
Wow. You ain't lying, bro.
I hope it's a big flop, though. I hope all this anticipation. I hope Memphis I hope it be one big flop and we don't do shit.
Hell no. This is Christmas clearance sale.
The 5 fired Memphis police
Memphis
officers
might
hadn't
shock
been with
you, though.
MPD
Who knows?
long.
We can make
The police
bets.
haven't told us what units they
cold in
worked
Memphis
with
right now?
during their time on the force. But some who know the officers say at least one confirmed he, and we're hearing several, were with the newly created Scorpion Squad that MPD started in 2021 as a
See, remember I started the show. I was telling you they started this task force, the Scorpion Squad, because of all the reckless driving going on in fucking Memphis. And the people were begging for it. I don't know if you guys were here at the beginning of the show, but the people were begging for something to be done about the reckless driving.
At least
Like
one
the 84
confirmed
crime
he,
bill.
and we're hearing several were with the newly created Scorpion Squad that MPD started in 2021 as a solution to fight crime.
Their job is to identify the target area, flood that area with officers, and suppress crime in that area, mostly by visibility. Just being present and having the officers there, it sees an impact on it.
And this audio from Broadcastify of police radio traffic the night of Tyree Nichols' beating specifically mentions calling more Scorpion units to the scene.
You know, the Scorpion car pull over to East Ranger Road, have one running on foot.
Cornell McKinney says this.
That was his ass running away and shit.
On foot.
Cornell McKinney says the same Scorpion unit stopped him January 3rd, 4 days before Nichols was pulled over.
I actually read it on the back of their vest. It said MPD Scorpion Unit.
It was at this Marathon gas station at Ridgeway in Knight Arnold as he was catching a ride with a friend.
All I heard is, freeze, get out the car. Put your MF hands up before I blow your heads off. Both of you, get out the car. So put your hands up. So I put my hands up, and one of the officers proceeded to come to the car, and he physically pulled me out by my shoulder with a gun no more than a foot away from my head.
He says the officers in unmarked cars would never say why they had been stopped. He took this picture of the stop. They eventually asked who the drugs belonged to.
I said, man, I just went across the street to get a pizza, and I'm on my way back to the house. He's like, well, who finna rap for this pound? I said, well, can we call my lawyer? And the officers, he yelled out, well, this ain't court. This ain't a time for lawyer. I was like, man, I just came to get a pizza. So he was like, man, we just playing. It ain't a pound in a car. And he let me walk off.
He showed us his call log when he says he placed 2 phone calls to MPD's internal affairs to complain about the officer's forcefulness. But he says he still hasn't heard back. Then he saw the picture of the 5 officers fired in the Tyree Nichols case.
I was like, that's them. I said, that's crazy. That's them. I said, now they don't really hurt somebody. This could have been prevented if the internal affairs took action like
this. Could have been prevented if y'all didn't.
Damn, we country
monkeys down there, man. If there wasn't so much fucking crime, this is the type of unit you need. So guys to come and kick ass and take names, man. This is what
he sounded real. I could hear the accent. So he was like, "That's damn."
You know, I can tell he's country. He sounded like you.
Look. I can hear it. I can hear it now.
Yeah,
I like your accent. But yo, one, I'm not gonna take any advice from a dude in the field with a fucking mask. And then
he at work. There's a warehouse behind him.
All right. But the other thing is, both parties are gonna hear this totally different. One side's gonna be like, I can't believe they fucking with people, and the other people like, oh, they sound cool to me.
Yeah,
and that's the problem with America, man. We hear the same stories, hear 2 different things.
We asked Memphis police about the stop involving Cornell McKinney and are also waiting to hear back. Those who know some of the officers are waiting to see how all of this plays out. Former Shelby County Sheriff's Captain Benny Cobb says he has spoken with one of the fired officers who he coached years ago.
It's been a roller coaster ride.
Logo so damn big.
Emotionally for him, he's been in my office. I prayed with him a couple of times, shared some information with him, and now as a result of termination, there are more questions that's being asked. I know the human person. Now, if he's guilty of what he's accused of and what he's been terminated for, of course justice has to be served.
April Thompson, WREG News.
You supposed to ride for your guy.
That was the closest he could get. I was like, he fucking. There was one person that didn't gut.
I would have been like, yeah, if he did it, he's still my guy. No matter what,
he did.
I'm gonna hold him down.
That's because you got a husband. Dudes can't say that shit, man. We lose everything, and then our wives leave us and go fuck some lame. It's a real bummer.
God damn.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. I feel so bad, man. But man, we gonna keep this. We gonna keep this story in the forefront. Tomorrow I guess we're gonna do this tomorrow about this impending protest and body cam coming out. Peace out. Great show. Salute to everybody. I'm
Bye,
out.
y'all.
Peace out, man.
All right.
Brown
Have a
sugar.
good night.
Good night, y'all.
Look at Mozzie take